Going live. Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 92. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Ruuts. Ruuts, 92 episodes, friend. That's 92 weeks. We're getting up there, man.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, man. I can't, just time is flying. We're running through episodes like they're water. And it's a good time. I was just on, actually lost track of time. I blamed Mash Daddy. I went to his Oculus Quest 2 group and I was like commenting on people's stuff. And I was just going down the list. And the next thing I know, I had 10 minutes left. And I literally had an hour and 15 minutes when I started. And I was like, oh God, what is time flew by? I just like answering people's questions or giving my opinion, and then having people disagree with me. And then I'm like, dude, do you know who I am? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just some average guy. I don't know shit.
So, you know what they say when it comes to VR, time flies unless you're having severe eye strain and nausea.
Yeah, yeah. And then it sucks. Then you're in pain. Then you're gonna get sick, right?
But that's only a small percentage of people. Those of you out there, prospective VR buyers, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It's all good all the time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny. It's really weird how some people are susceptible to being sick and some people aren't. My first game I ever played was Minecraft VR with full locomotion, and I didn't get sick. And what I did would make people puke. A lot of people, just because it's just the way the cameras move. But then there's other people that they get in the slightest movement. I have a friend in Lake City, Florida, and he just barely moved at all, like a little bit of locomotion, and he was like, "Ooh, I got," like, to the point where I think he's still afraid, Wes, to get into a locomotion game, because he didn't like that feeling. And it's funny because your wife is my story to everybody that says they can't do it. I'm like, dude, Wes's wife like was the same way, and because your love of VR was so strong and she liked it so much, she went through and took the paces to slowly get those VR legs, and now she's a veteran, so it can be done. And if you can't, you're a wuss. I'm just kidding.
So, I mean, it was kind of funny how it happened with her. Most people, when you're trying to bring them along in the VR, and by the way, if you are new to VR and this is something that you're having trouble with, just know that you can overcome it and it's not that difficult. All it takes is time inside, and you can tailor your experiences in such a way that it doesn't really make you sick right away. What Roots was saying just then was a perfect example. You want to try to avoid games that move you around very much inside the game at first. No locomotion, no roller coasters. Pick out a nice wave shooter where you're stationary in the game, and it's an amazing fun time. But just logging that time in the headset will allow your brain to become more acclimated to it over time. And if you'll just give yourself 15 minutes a day in the headset, before you'll know it, you'll be at 30 minutes and then an hour. And that's kind of what happened with wife. But instead of starting her on these nice tame experiences, we went the extreme opposite route. And she started in games like Farpoint,
Mm.
like Rush of Blood, stuff like this. But it had the opposite effect because even though it wasn't like these tame experiences, the games that she played were some of the all-time great VR games. So she was hooked. In spite of the nausea, she was hooked anyway. So it can go both ways. You either want to have something that's super tame, or you want to put them in Half-Life Alyx like on day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I kind of give credit to your wife being awesome too. She just like pushed through it and she made it happen, and she just loves VR for it. So
Oh, she didn't push through it, dude. She ripped the headset off in 5 minutes and went and vomited like a bunch of times, like
oh
a bunch of
God.
times.
Wow.
She couldn't, I mean, like even the most tame wave shooter would make her sick. She was deathly sensitive to it at first, but
Wow.
now, I mean, she's all good to go, and she can go with like 2 months without playing VR, put it on and still be fine now.
Oh, that's awesome. I just saw Overg's jump in. Overg's from Michigan time, bro. I've been missing you, Overg's. Hopefully everything's going good in your life, man.
Yeah, all our friends out in chat. Scion saying hello. Hussein X. Mash Daddy Cool. What's up, Eric? Corporate Zombie. Of course. Wifey. Hello, wife. Drew. Delirium Drew. What's up, buddy? Onakazi. Bitey. Slayblaze. Void Citizen. Uh, PD. What's up, PD? All our friends are out today, Brutes.
Yeah, PD's kind of pissed me off this morning. He told me he went back in time and he changed some things, but he didn't change the important things. Didn't give me the stock tips I wanted about Amazon. Other than that, I love me some PD.
Yeah, he didn't bring back your copy of Gray's Sports Almanac 2020.
Yes, dude. I want Gray Sports Almanac. I want the flying car, Wes. I want the flux capacitor, and I want it now. And I don't know if that would be a good thing because I would start going back and changing some things that probably shouldn't be changed. But it's a different
So
story.
Overg's in the house from Michigan. It looks like Quadzilla, also a Michigander. For the record, guys, I was born in Michigan and lived the
Ooh,
first few years of my life in
wow.
Michigan. Born in the suburban Detroit area.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could probably almost tell, dude. It wasn't. Was it 8 Mile?
My grandma lives on 8 Mile.
Who's who else loves 8 Mile?
My mom!
Yeah, she
She
does.
might be there right now for all I know, actually.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I'll tell you what, that's definitely I love me some 8 Mile only because I saw the Eminem movie and that's all I know about it. So
Yeah, well, gained quite a reputation during that period of time, but let me tell you, not what
not real.
everybody thinks it is.
No,
It's
no,
just like everywhere else, bro. It's just a road.
no.
It's right next to it's right between 7 Mile and 9 Mile.
Oh, hey, I didn't even know that 7 and 9 Mile existed. So now I'm learning something.
Anyway, I learned a lot of things this week, Roots. A lot of cool VR news, and just the trend that we've been following the last few weeks, continuing this week as we ramp up. Maybe not the amount of news that we've had over the last couple of weeks, but the significance of this week's news. I would put at the top of the list of any week we've had so far this year.
Yeah, so much so that I was streaming last night and Traveling Man came into the stream and he was like, I saw the Patreon notes and I'm excited for the show. And my first thought was, wow, Wes is way, 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 way ahead of the game. Because usually you and I are scrambling in the morning to get it done. You're usually falling asleep at your computer. I'm assuming you had the day off. But
No, no,
no?
no, no, no,
Oh, wow.
no. Actually, what has happened is my work schedule, as you all know, changed a couple of weeks ago, and I've been adjusting to how do I deal with the show now that I'm working overnight now. So the last couple of weeks, I basically have tried to stick to my old schedule of doing it after I get home on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Only now I don't get home until 7, 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. So it's kind of tough. The last couple of weeks, I've literally written the show and then did the show, without sleeping. I go to work, I come home, I write the show, and then we do the show. This week, I said, no, we're not going to do
Hmm.
that. So yesterday, before I went to work, I wrote the show, and that way Roots can get on top of the thumbnail. And when I get home in the morning, like I did this morning, all I have to do is put the show page up, and we're good to go.
I'll tell you what, I like this new way better because selfishly for me, I got off the stream and I got everything done and I fell asleep, Wes. I woke up this morning at like 8 and I was like, oh God, and then I remembered I had everything done already. I had all the scenes pulled, it was all done. So it makes my Sunday morning less hectic. I'm sure it makes yours less hectic. But I'm a big believer of going with the flow and like you're running it 50 million things on burning the candle on both ends. So I acquiesce to whatever makes it easier for you. I'll make it work, but I have to say I like this new way better because it just gives us more time to I guess let the Patreons, man, they got a super advanced notice, and I guess that all comes around to people being excited about the news this week.
Well, let's talk some news, Roots, and let's start. And by the way, Scion in the chat says the the best VR game, all platforms in my background right now. Well, I would answer that by saying that's arguable because we're going to start this week off by talking about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The Trial DLC came to Oculus Quest this past week, thus bringing platform parity to our 2020 Game of the Year. And upon doing so, Upload VR published a very interesting article. It was an interview with Skydance Interactive's, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Chris Bousset. Chris Bousset. We're going to call him Bousset because that's how it looks to me. But
Looks fancy. That's a fancier version.
Yeah, it sounds better anyway. If it's not Bousset, maybe he should take a cue and change it. But Upload VR spoke to Skydance's Chris Bousset this week, basically about the significance of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners achieving platform parity. Achieving this parity should make the game easier to iterate upon moving forward. In other words, streamlining the process to potential future DLC. And Mr. Bousset confirmed this to Upload, stating that, quote, "We certainly have more in the works, but we're not prepared to announce anything yet. We're working on more stuff. We're not done with Saints and Sinners for sure. Here's what I can tell you. Stay tuned. You don't have long to wait."
Ooh.
So Roots, we were, this revelation doesn't really come as much as of a surprise to at least me, and I don't think you either, because a few weeks ago, I don't know if you remember, but Skydance put out this 1-year anniversary thank you video through their social media channels. And basically it went down the line to all these different people working at Skydance, including our own Gamer Chick 13, Tiffany. And there were 2 or 3 of them in there that made the statement, "We can't wait for you to see what comes next." Now, most people, for whatever reason, took this as them alluding to a future title, so like the next title, maybe not even Saints and Sinners, like a completely different VR title. But to me, it seemed fairly obvious they were talking about more DLC. Well, apparently that is in fact the case, according to Mr. Bousset.
Well, that's awesome because I want me some more Saints and Sinners. As a matter of fact, I was just mentioning that in that Facebook group. Somebody was asking if this game was worth it, and I was like, "Oh God, let me answer this. Yes, it's worth it." I started laying everything out. The story, the crafting, the physics. Everything about it. And I don't know, man. I keep thinking, if Alex was so good, it would be on other platforms, but I guess that's a different story, right? Not just one. But yeah, it's definitely one of the best games, if not the best game in 2020, and I'm excited to play more. Now I want co-op, Wes. Now there's some rumors, or I guess not rumors, but everybody wants co-op, right? That's what was in the interview as well, right?
Yeah, well, Upload went on after they confirmed this DLC with Mr. Bousset, or as Onokazi likes to call him, Mr. Boutte. And by the way, I would say that Mr. Bousset here is not Mr. Boutte. The booty man is Ed Leslie.
Yeah.
Ed Leslie was the booty man. Google it. But anyway, following the statement, the Upload article goes on to point out a few, to us, obvious facts. That while more replayable game modes would be cool, like the trial, most people would prefer new story content, even if it's paid DLC. They also go on to state what we've been screaming here since day one, that above all, what we want is co-op gameplay. And when asked, Mr. Bousset seemed a bit more reserved when talking about the prospects of a co-op update. And I quote, "Is multiplayer for sure not going to happen in Saints and Sinners? No. But I wouldn't want people excited and expectant because it's not immediately about to happen. We want to capture that, but technologically, it's not trivial. So it's a balancing act." And David Jaganal, the author of the article and the person who conducted the interview, goes on to say that what he took from the conversation, without it being explicitly said, was that co-op's something that they're probably going to be looking to do in their next title instead of this one, because it is, technologically speaking, a very different thing, and they would kind of have to tailor the game around that as they build it, instead of tacking on some kind of trial or something, some kind of replayable game mode with some fairly thin co-op support.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, we don't. The thing is I love the game as it is, and I would equally or be happy with maybe a sequel, multiplayer, or whatever. Now, Paradise Decay said someone spotted in the trial run you get a message about multiplayer of some sorts. I don't know what that
Well,
message is, but
it wouldn't shock me, because we've been saying this for pretty much since the game launched, and we were saying it here first, and then I have been pretty proud of that. We've kept it in people's mind. We've planted the seed, and it's grown and blossomed out into this big ugly bush that they can't get rid of now, right? Like, they keep trying to trim it up and keep it under control, and it's very possible that that's what Mr. Bousset is doing here. Maybe he's trying to no sell co-op, so that we'll be genuinely shocked and excited when they drop it. But again, well, let me ask you this, Roots, because this is an interesting question. I would like co-op in any form. I just kind of played down the idea of having the trial co-op mode, but that would be great, right? It would be way more fun. I would actually play the trial a whole lot more if I could do it with a friend. What would you rather have, Roots? Would you rather have a free co-op update for the trial, the meat grinder update, or would you rather have, say, a $15 story DLC, 5-hour story campaign add-on?
I'd rather have a paid DLC. I'm not really interested in whether it's free or not. I want content. I want campaign co-op. I think it would be cool. But a lot of games tack on these multiplayer extra scenes or whatever it is. Now, I don't know if it'd probably be a lot easier for them to add co-op to the trial versus the game. I know Scion thinks it's the platform holding back the quest, holding back the co-op, but I almost guarantee that's not the case. But I mean, it is kind of funny. But yeah, no, I definitely think that I would rather pay for it for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Just because I'm that's the type of gameplay that I enjoy the most, is story based, and they did it so well here. I would love to see more story content for the game. They have a endless possibilities when it comes to like the backstory that they've built up here. I mean, they could even go with like origin stories and prequel stories for days, right? They could do like probably 4 or 5 good DLCs, just filling in the blanks with the origins of all these characters.
Yeah, I want. See, that's the bottom line, is I want more. You know what I mean? I love this game, and it's amazing on all platforms. And it's definitely something that I would like to see more DLC, even if it was just DLC. That, I mean, as much as I want co-op, I just want more. I want more story. I like you said, that sounds really intriguing. Take me back. Let me see how it all started. Wasn't that one of the coolest episodes of The Walking Dead, was when they kind of went back and they filled in the blanks, and you got to see Rick wake up and like all the different things. Couldn't they do that with a DLC, to where you're back in, you get to see, maybe you're Henri, who knows, man? Like, there's so many possibilities. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say you could start the game as Henri as the collapse happens, right? As the city falls, and then you could play in his shoes as he meets May and her daughter, and then the final chapters could be finding the bus and setting all that up, and then you meet the tourist, and then roll credits.
Yeah, I would like to like get bound up and hung upside down. I want to see how, maybe I don't want that to happen, but no, I think that would be amazing. And I think it's, there's a lot of ways to look at this. A lot of people, I guess half glass, the glass half full or versus half empty. People will focus on the fact that he was hesitant to talk about um, co-op, but I look at it as he absolutely said that it was on their radar, and you know what I mean. Like to me, they confirmed this is what we're looking at. We're at some point this is going to happen. Whether it's otherwise they would have just came out and said no, we're just not doing it. Now that doesn't mean that that's in this game. Maybe it's in a sequel or whatever, but it's on their radar, and so I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with this because if anything, they've proven to me that they have an amazing team there and they know what they're doing. So,
Well, there's a couple of things that are certain. I feel like at this point, first of all, it's kind of a win-win situation because I feel like we're going to get one or the other, right? We're either going to get a co-op addition to the trial, or we're going to get new story content that's probably going to be paid DLC. Either one of those is going to be amazing. Um, uh, Basically what I'm saying is I don't think that they're going to add like new modes to the trial. I don't think that that's what this is. I think that it'll be something more significant to that. The other thing that we know uh, is that they can't really add co-op into the story mode as it is. So if they're going to give us co-op and it's not the trial, and if we're not talking about a sequel here, then it would have to be story DLC, right? It would have to be a brand new chapter of the story with co-op going on in it, and maybe it's characters that we know, maybe it's May and Henri, or maybe it's a whole new, couple of members of the faction from another part of the city. It could be post story, it could be pre-story. There's so many possibilities. I'm sure that whatever it is, it's going to be great because if anything, they've demonstrated just how good they are at putting together a narrative-based campaign.
it's funny because Gamer Chick, she's not here right now, but she always asks us all the time. It's one of the devs, if you don't know, and she always asks us for suggestions, right? And I just had something hit me, Wes, that I've never even thought of suggesting, but I want reactions. Like if I pull out, I want to pull out my head. I want to pull out that guy's head from that first quest and give it to that lady. That's you know what I mean? Like here's your husband's head, and I want to see her freak out or have some kind of reaction because I really thought that was going to happen. Because there's so many things you could do in this game that you just wouldn't that are think outside the box, even to the point where people collect zombie heads and they stick them in the bus. But I want to see some reactions if possible from stuff like that. Bizarre stuff like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why would you bring me my husband's head? Like, have her pull out a gun and start shooting you. I think it would be cool.
Yeah, I think these things that you're talking about are coming, but this is all sequel stuff. This is kind of the next step for video games in general, not just VR games. But what you're talking about is AI,
Yeah.
and it's coming. Uh, and I don't think it's going to be very long, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. It's stuff like that that builds immersion. And I just want to shout out Paul Bellino for the $20 super chat. Thanks, dude. That is so awesome. He says, you guys are needed for our small and growing community. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely.
And so, we need you guys as much as you need us. We're kind of all in this together. We're just kind of your mouthpiece. We're here as representatives of the enthusiast wing of the VR community.
Absolutely. We really appreciate that and give you the double thumbs up, Roots. Now, this is something, Wes, we got to get working on it, man, because Traveling Man is on my butt. He keeps bringing up merch. Have you guys worked on the merch? I want a shirt. I told him, hey, look, we're still trying to iron out like getting our show intros and outros and all that stuff, but the merch is on the list. We want to get some merch out there for anybody that is interested. And it is on our list, and hopefully we can get it done sooner than later. But well, it'll take some time, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have merch this year. It is definitely on our. We've got lists of things that we want to do to kind of bring ourselves up to the next level this year, and merch is on that list. It's just not at the top of the list. But hopefully we'll get to knocking this stuff off fairly quickly, and we'll get to that.
I'll tell you what, my merch for my cup here, it makes me feel complete to know that there's a double thumbs up cup out there that I can use. So ridiculous.
Silence says people want their Roots mugs. Well, we're going to do double thumbs up stuff. Well, I mean, we'll do mugs if we can. We're for sure going to do t-shirts, and I think we're also going to do the do you know who else has this shirt?
Hmm.
I think
My
we're gonna do that
mom.
one. Right. Yeah, so we're going to do that one too. Those are our only ideas so far, but we really haven't given it much thought. So
Yeah, and if you have any ideas, go to the Discord, throw them out there, let us know. And you who knows, your idea might actually make it on some merch.
yeah, we'll probably do a lot of limited stuff. I would imagine we'll do different things. We'll have a run of so many of these shirts, and then we'll go on to a new one. Like we'll have a 2021 show shirt with some cool graphics or something on it. And when they're gone, and then on to the next shirt, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if Wes's suggestions or ideas for any merch is anything like what he suggests for the show, you're going to get some amazing merch because your mind is a beautiful mind, bro. It just keeps getting better with what um, all the different things we're doing with this show, and I think it's awesome.
Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. OG says merchandise. I want me a Roots cup, dude. I think that we should just sell your cups, bro. It sounds like everybody wants one.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to sell them myself. I just got to figure out why the Etsy won't let me do it for my Twitch. It's like I can buy it, I just can't sell it. That's weird. It's a tech issue thing.
Anyway, updates coming to The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Exciting news, but only the first of a laundry list of exciting news this week, because Japanese developer Enhanced Games, this is the studio that brought us VR classics such as Res Infinite and Tetris Effect, has recently confirmed that they are beginning work on a new next gen project. The popular Japanese media outlet Famitsu recently interviewed Enhanced Games Tetsuya Mizuguchi with a big focus on the recent launch of Oculus Quest 2. Early on, he notes that Tetris Effect has seen monthly active users triple, similar to a lot of what a lot of other developers have said recently. Roots, this is just more of the same story here with this first statement from Mr. Mizuguchi. Um, Triple the active users. We've recently got word that there's something like 60 different titles have generated $1 million or more in revenue. We've got Beat Saber, which has sold over 4 million copies, and already within 6 months that it's been on the market, Oculus Quest 2 is already the number 2 used headset on all of Steam VR. All indications are that this thing is just a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy where it's going. You know what's crazy about this whole news about this genius that makes these games, the Tetris Effect and Resident Evil. I was thinking, or Resident Evil, Res Infinite. I was thinking the PlayStation VR that everybody says is dead. Clearly, he's not dead. And what do you think that this developer could do with that new Tempest audio? Like it's gonna blow people away. Like we've said it before about Tetris Effect. It's how everything. It's like it's artwork, man. And I know Anthony doesn't agree. He needs to get back in there and try it again. He's forgetting how good it was. But the haptics, the visuals, the audio, the way that everything works together in sync, and it just gives you an experience. It is exactly what we were saying in the Discord earlier today about certain games and being like you can't replicate that game outside of VR. It's just not the same, man. Like when you're in there and everything's meshing together, it's almost gives me that VR 365 Beat Saber tier moment, because it's just so good. And I would say if people don't or haven't tried it, it's definitely worth trying. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'd say the same for Rez too. This
Yeah.
this guy, you nailed it. It's artwork, and Mizuguchi
Yeah.
went on to discuss that work has begun on a new project for next gen devices like PlayStation 5. And listen to this, looking to explore 3D spatial audio and haptics, saying, quote, of course, next generation consoles were available at the end of last year. So I would like to develop the next game with a new generation. And the project is actually starting to move. So it sounds like Roots, what he's describing here is exactly what you just said. It sounds like he's making a PlayStation VR game, and it sounds like he's completely on board with the vision from the Sony executives and Mark Cerny when it comes to immersive gaming, right? Bringing audio and haptics up to the level of graphics. And it sounds like his next title is going to be based on just that.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't get enough of all of these games. Tell you the Tetris effect, and just watching this video, man, it did make me forget how good this Area X was, um, and just amazing. So I might have to get back into this and try it again.
You know, it's interesting because I've played through Res multiple times at this point. I own it on multiple, I think 3 platforms now. Um, I've never played the Area X. I've never booted into Area X. And interestingly, Mr. Mizuguchi notes that the dedicated VR level Area X that we're talking about here was designed as a prologue to this upcoming game that they're working on. So this new next gen title that's supposed to incorporate the next gen haptics and sound that is prominent in the PlayStation 5 is actually going to be more of the same. Area X is the prologue to the next game.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, it makes me want to play it even more. And I wish um, some of the naysayers of PlayStation VR had prominent voices like Linus, because they're going to look really foolish in about a year or less when PlayStation VR starts to take off again. It's not dead. I don't make predictions on the show much, but that I can, in my mind, it's coming. It's like I don't know. At some point, when you have a successful thing like PlayStation VR has been for Sony, why would you just suddenly ditch it? Because everybody's impatient. No, it's coming. It's just a matter of time.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because like Upload VR, seems like everything they did through 2020 about PlayStation VR was a negative story, or at least had some negative connotations to it. But since Hitman, boy, have they changed their tune. Now, they're not out there trying to tell people that everybody should go buy PSVR in 2021, but you can see the anticipation level for what's next starting to ramp up, not just from Upload, but from everybody. It seems like the pressure is starting to mount for Sony to give us something, to throw us a bone. And you can almost feel it like something's about to happen. It just feels like something's about to break loose here.
Yeah, I agree, and I can't wait to see it and rub it in Jarilla's face.
Delirium Juice says, so Wes, are you going to play Area X now? Yeah, actually, I'm going to play the entirety of Res Infinite, including Area X, on camera on my channel. It's going to all be uploaded. Imagine that.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that's going to make it on your list.
I wonder.
I wonder.
So, Roots, what time is it?
Quote time.
It is quote time. And then once again, this is Tetsuya Mizuguchi from Enhance Games. He says, quote, we hope to use that concept in the next generation of games. With the concept and XR technology, we'd like to increase the overall resolution and create a more detailed game. In order to achieve this, The evolution of VR technology is very important, and resolution is also important. In other words, there are various levels of granularity, aren't there? I'd like to see that improve. So basically, what he's saying here is the game that he has in mind is not possible on current generation hardware. While the PlayStation and the PCs might be enough to pull it off, the headsets are not. And he's talking about resolution uh, on a level where basically you can tell differences in resolution within a single image, right? Talking about layered granularity and resolution while you're in VR. So what he's talking about is super sharp displays, the kind of displays that, quite frankly, aren't that far down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with the way technology is moving, tripling, quadrupling every day. Uh, yeah, who knows exactly where we're at. Although, there's some new headsets coming out that claim they're going to be amazingly sharp, 8K graphics, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that segues perfectly into our next topic because according to a report by Bloomberg, Apple may be planning to release a VR headset with limited AR capabilities as soon as next year, 2022, which is said to be a precursor to its long-rumored full-fledged AR device. Now, a follow-up report by The Information contends that the company's first VR headset will cost around $3,000 and will include a laundry list of high tech features that have been on the enthusiast wish list for some time. The information's report maintains that Apple's upcoming VR AR headset will be equipped with more than a dozen cameras for tracking hand movements and showing video of the real world to people who are wearing it, along with ultra high resolution 8K displays, which make use of eye tracking for dynamic foveated rendering. So here we have it, Roots. These, since we've been in VR, everybody's had their wish list, this idea of what the next VR headset will be. Even back when we were on CV1, people were thinking that the next VR headset, we're going to have these super sharp displays with perfect pass through video and eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering. We've heard it from Oculus year after year after year that they're getting closer, they're getting closer, they're getting closer. Well, here comes Apple, Roots, and in spite of it being, crazy high priced, they're apparently about to deliver on the promise of VR that's been looming large ever since day one that we stepped into VR.
Now, is this gonna? Did they say it was gonna be standalone, or is that what they're implying, or is it gonna be hooked to a computer? Because my thought is as amazing as the G2 is, most people's computers are gonna be able to utilize it. So at some point, the technology in people's computers have to catch up, and if it's gonna be hooked to a computer, I mean, we all know Apple's are gaming computers. They are awesome at game. Oh wait, no, they're not. So I don't know, man. I love everything I'm hearing about this. I love innovation. Love seeing Apple getting into VR. I just don't like Apple products, and that's where my problem is I just don't like their operating system. I don't like anything about Apple. I think Apple is the most overrated, overpriced products out there. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments. Which I know I'm going to get some from Jim Hall. Jim Hall's an Apple fanatic. I just haven't never been impressed with their stuff, and especially for gaming. There's a reason why when people like Jim Hall have 3, 4 MacBooks or whatever it is, they still have their PC for gaming. They're not gaming on their Mac. Most people, anyway. So I'm in a weird place, and I'm not saying that Apple can't innovate and they can't make something amazing and blow us away and be completely different than what they've been doing. But this is absolutely completely different than what they've been doing. 100%. It's got 180 from everything they've done in the past. So we'll see. We'll see how good it is. and we'll see if it's really going to be $3,000. Because my bet is we might as well double that price because it is Apple. And by the time 2022 comes around, 3,000, that ain't nothing, bro. 6,000, 8,000. I don't know. Maybe not that high, but
Well, a few things. To answer your first question, yes, this is going to be standalone, and they're going to use an in-house processor, more powerful than their top of the line iPhone processor. Second of all, that is actually palatable when you take into consideration a couple of things. One, eye tracking with dynamic foveated rendering is a game changer.
true.
It's going to reduce the computational cost of running these applications by orders of magnitude. This is a big deal for VR. Secondly, um, while this thing will game, I'm quite sure that this is not going to be their main focus. This isn't going to be sold as a gaming device. It's going to be sold as the Ready Player One experience that does everything. It games. It allows you to work. It takes you to this next gen social platform that I'm sure they're going to roll out with this. And while it's true that they've never done anything like this before, rest assured they've been working on this for some time now, and they're just now starting to unveil it. I'm sure they've been working on it for years. And if it wasn't good and if it wasn't what they say it is, then they wouldn't be talking about putting that kind of a price tag on it. I think this thing is going to be really good, even though it is going to be different. It's not going to be your conventional gaming headset, but I do think it's going to be extremely high end. And I've said it, last week when we were talking about this. Apple generally doesn't tend to have the highest in every category, but the things that they have that are good are the best, such as their screens and their cameras. They bring it when it comes to this stuff, and generally that stuff is so far ahead that it tends to make up for the deficiencies in other areas.
Yeah, well, I guess time will tell. I can't see myself running out and buying it at $3,000. Uh, anyway,
Mm,
whether or not
there's no
it's
chance in hell. No
yeah,
chance in hell. There's no way I'll ever own this.
yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see somebody else getting in the VR AR market, and we knew Apple was going to be doing it eventually, and it gives hope for all the other companies that we've been wanting to. Nintendo, man, that I would spend. Well, I wouldn't spend $3,000 for it, but I might run out and buy. I mean, because they've proven to me that they know what they're doing gaming wise, and that's my focus. I could care less about sitting and watching TV with something on my face, but maybe if the display is that good, that's the only way I would want to watch something. So yeah, I guess time will tell. We only have a year plus to wait. So
Yeah, Diz the Game Cat says, I'm curious about the controllers. Well, here's a pretty big indicator about what their focus is with this device. I read that there are a few different things that they're looking into as far as interface goes, and none of them are standard game controllers. Uh, there was a weird kind of media remote type device that they talked about. Something else that they were rather rather high on was gesture based controls from these 12 cameras looking at your hands. And then they talked about another kind of tracking device that it's like a thimble. It just fits down over your thumb. And there's some way to use that that's going to allow you to interact inside the game. Outside of that, what else we know is that it's a compact and extremely lightweight form factor, and it's going to have swappable headbands. So you're going to have like this little kind of goggles type thing that's kind of made out of this mesh material, and the headband itself is going to be swappable.
it's interesting. It definitely
Yep.
is exciting news that something's going on that's going to push the industry. And I'll never say that that's not a good thing. It's just whether or not, and not every product is made for Roots, which is kind of crazy. But so I get that. And Jim Hall has a good point. He basically says that if it can replace a similarly priced laptop and be more productive, you need to see the applications first. So at least Jim Hall is looking at it from a productive standpoint. Because if you could replace your laptop and just have this thing on your face, you'd be good. So
Exactly, and that's kind of what they're going for here. This is going to be the true all-in-one, and I don't just mean all of your hardware in one device. I mean all of your needs met by one device. That's kind of what they're going for here. But I get it. I'm like you, Roots. I am more gaming focused. That's what I'm in it for, is the games. And you know who else is in it for the games?
uh,
Not my mom,
oh, I was gonna say your
but
mom.
but Lord Gaben,
Oh yeah.
Valve co-founder Gabe Newell previously revealed Valve was working on a brain computer interface (BCI) with a company called OpenBCI, the minds behind the open source BCI software and hardware solutions. Now, Toby, the eye tracking firm, has announced that it's also a partner on the project and that developer kits incorporating eye tracking and design elements of Valve Index are expected to ship early next year. And Toby has confirmed that they will be lending their eye tracking technology to the open BCI project known as Galea. So now it appears that Galea will not only include a sensor packed strap, but also an eye tracking enabled modified Valve Index headset variation. Roots, we've kind of been talking off the air about the possibilities of this BCI technology coming from Valve, and we said it. Gavin keeps telling us that it's closer than we think, and here we have proof positive from a well-known company in the space, Toby, probably the best-known company when it comes to eye tracking in VR, telling us that they're involved too, and there's going to be headsets with all of these features shipping to developers early next year.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely it's good news, right? I know it's like you said, it's closer than we think and sketchier than we think, in my opinion. But I'm ready to see what they can do with it. And what I thought was interesting when I was reading the notes, and or maybe it was I was reading an article or something, but it was talking about not only what the computer what we could how do they phrase it? Not only what we could learn from the computer or the computer could learn from us or write to change the mind or something. It was like the way that they worded it kind of sketched me out a little bit because I know that the technology is probably benign and the world is there's no bad people in the world that would want to abuse something like this. But I sometimes I wonder what effects could be happening to our minds outside of what they're telling us. And call me paranoid conspiracy theorist, but I like to look at every angle and something that can read your mind. What else can it be doing? But I don't know enough about the technology, and it probably is paranoid. But I think a little bit of thought is good before we just start putting chips in our brain and doing all sorts of stuff. Granted, that's not what this is, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's certainly where it's headed. And really quickly, Eric Masher with the $5 donation says, "I'll take two at 3,000 apiece." He probably will, right? Thanks for the donation, Eric. That's very cool.
Did you see my comment after? I said, yeah, two, one for Roots, one for Mash. I appreciate that, Mash.
Right.
That is the best donation I've ever seen. I mean, I would love to have a $3,000 headset from you.
Yeah, for sure. At the very least, someone will go to an Apple store and try the thing on, right?
Yeah, well, if we're allowed to, who knows what the world will be like by then. Hopefully,
It'll be back to normal, dude. I mean, it's going to be midterm. There's no elections in sight. We'll be fully inoculated by then.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what you're saying here with the BCI technology, this first iteration of it is going to be a read-only technology. They're basically going to be able to take the data from this project. And then the next iteration of it will probably be something a little more invasive. But we know that this is the goal because when you hear Gaben talk about the technology, he talks about being able to give the user a reality that's more real than real. He's talking about how the eyes are too low res compared to what they're going to be able to do when they tap into your mind. Uh, so make no mistake, this is just a precursor to what they really have in mind. And every time I see this guy with, sitting there like Jabba the Hutt with his big gray beard, I always wonder if he's actually going to live to see the fruits of his labor.
I hope so. I think he's rich enough. If you're rich enough, you got all sorts of technology we don't have access to, most likely. It seems like some of these people, the richest people, look like they're 150 years old and they're still trucking away, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure he's in a mad race to upload his consciousness before his body goes out, right?
Yeah, who doesn't want to upload your consciousness to the? Oh wait, I don't. To the cloud. I'm going to be traditional, Wes. I'm going to die and I'm going to fade away just like everybody else. I don't want to live forever. The Highlander, man, if you ever saw that show back in the day, man, there's a reason why it's not good to live forever. Like there's a time and a place, and I think we're supposed to die. I don't want to die, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
Right. Um, but when it comes to this technology, obviously, we're a few steps away from the end game with it, and it's going to be interesting to see what these developer kits yield. Will we get a Valve Index 2 with all of these bells and whistles attached to it? Because they're talking about developer kits here. They're not talking about a consumer facing product just yet, but I got to imagine that that's not too far down the road. And what that's going to mean in terms of gaming, only time's going to tell. But there are some things we can take out of this that I do feel like we can be legitimately excited about. And it's time for us to do what we do best here and read between the lines, because we've just talked about a new product coming from Apple, and we've just talked about a new product coming from Valve. And while the two companies may have two completely different goals and visions for what they're trying to accomplish, when it comes down to the technology, we can see one very big, glaring lowest common denominator between the two, and that is the inclusion of eye tracking with dynamic foveated rendering. Like I said at the top, we've been waiting on this technology a long time, and it is a game changer. It's going to be a big, big deal for the types of experiences that are available in VR. And you kind of said it at the top when we started talking about the Apple headset. Uh, while we may never own one of these, and it might not be the type of device that we want, the way that it's going to push the industry is going to be beneficial for us. Because think about this for a moment. We have Facebook here, who, by the way, have been working on these same technologies for years. They've been working on, super high res displays. They've been working on brain computer interface. They've been working on eye tracking with dynamic foveated rendering, and they've been working on varifocal. But they've invested at this point, what would you say, $1 billion into making VR the next big computing platform, the next big social and gaming and enterprise platform. And right now, just as they're starting to have success, just when everything they want is right within their grasp, here comes Apple with their next gen, like way ahead of anything we've ever seen before, hardware. Do you think that Facebook's just going to sit back and continue to develop and iterate upon their tech, or do you think that they're going to see this, get their shit together, and come out in 2022 with a predecessor or a successor to Quest 2 that is light years ahead of anything we've ever seen before.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready to be blown away. I mean, they've proven to us that they're not against spending money to develop this, and companies like Apple, it's a lot of it's the bottom line. It's like what as far as money wise, and they want to innovate, but Facebook has shown that they want to push the industry. They want to make it mainstream, and even if they have a similar product as say Apple does, it's just going to be cheaper. They've proven to us they want to get that in the average person's hand. It doesn't mean it's going to be $400, $300, but maybe compared to the 3,000, it's 1,500, which is still crazy to me. But I definitely think that Facebook is not going to sit on their hands and just kind of chill. They're definitely going to be pushing the boundaries, and they want to be the next player or next the Ready Player One, right? They don't want Valve to be it. They don't want Apple to be it. And so I think it's good. It's like we've said all along from the day one on this podcast. Competition is good. Competition drives innovation, and I'm glad Apple came out and Valve is doing this because it is lighting a fire under Facebook. And we did kind of feel like, in some ways, Facebook was kind of not pushing like they used to. We saw the Half Dome. Where the hell is that thing, man? That thing was amazing. So maybe they start to bring in some of these features into the headsets. And one thing that Facebook has also proven to me is they're not adverse to taking a loss to get the headsets in people's hands, and that's huge because it's one thing to have an amazing product that nobody can afford. It's another thing to have an amazing product that is mass put out there for the masses, right? And I mean, I still don't know how they're making money on these headsets for the Quest 2 because they're just so cheap. I mean, people that bought the Quest 1 were like, how the hell is this thing cheaper than what I just bought last year? And it's night and day better, right? So
Yeah, so I mean that's the bottom line here. I don't think that Facebook. I don't think there's any chance in hell that they're going to let their investment and all this money and time that they've spent just be picked off by Apple. So I think that they are going to, they are going to put a product forth with all this tech that they've been working on, and it might not have the BCI tech in it just yet because obviously the Valve headset's a little further down the road. But I do think that we're going to see eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering in the next Oculus Quest. I do think we're going to see varifocal, which is something that that I don't even think Apple or anyone else is quite going to have, other than a few other. There's a few startups that have this light field tech that they've been working on, which does something similar. But I think that Facebook's going to be the first to market with the varifocal. So what I think we're going to get here is something akin to what Apple's coming with that might not have every bell and whistle, but in other ways has stuff that the Apple one don't. And it's going to be much more affordable and mass marketable. And I think that rather than getting this headset in 2023 or 2024, we're going to get it in 2022 now. In Oculus Quest 3 instead of Oculus Quest 4 because of what's happening at Apple.
yeah, well, let's talk about this too. Like, how many, like, if you had Tobii eye tracking come out 2 years ago, and this is the case for everything, even the hand tracking with the Quest 2, like it needs to have applications. You got to be able to use it. So just because you've got some kind of a thing that can read your mind, like I don't know if you've seen some of these videos where they're moving the blocks around or whatever. That's great. Like it's also going to take developers having to change everything that they're doing to make all these things work. Even if it's like they say that I guess the goal is to like if say you go into a horror game and you're just not that scared, it changes it, right? It makes it can sense your. I mean, but like realistically, do we think that this product, if it dropped today, is going to have? How is that going to interact with all of these games? And how I just don't believe that. I feel like for a bit it's going to be a gimmick, and maybe there'll be some things you can do, but is it really going to change my experience across the board in every game? I think it's a stepping stone, and I think it's a unique um, thing, but I don't know that it's going to translate to much difference in experiences. And maybe I'm wrong, and we'll find out down the road. But it has to have applicable things that it can be used for. So I don't know.
Well, you're absolutely right about the first iteration. By the time this thing actually gets a consumer release, it's going to be able to do some pretty amazing things that we've never seen before. But with that said, just like any new technology, it's going to be a starting point. It's going to be like going back to 2016 again. We were all amazed in 2016 with the short tech demos that we had. And it's going to be the same for this. When we get this new mind reading VR headset, it's going to be amazing short tech demos that we get with it. We're going to get a whole new lab, I'm sure. But it's going to be just that. And it's going to take time for the technology to mature just as it has for VR.
But one of the things that does excite me, Wes, is they're openly talking about an Index 2, right, of some sort. And I don't think that whatever they've got planned in here is just going to be the only thing they have in there. You're gonna have better screens, everything that we would want, like as like say Scion that's thought about getting the Index. Now he's like, okay, maybe I wait a little bit longer and I get the better version of Index with better visuals, whatever they end up changing on there, because it's not just going to be this technology. It's going to be a revamping of everything. So, and then they'll keep the things that work really well, like the audio and that type of stuff. So it is exciting news to hear that, Valve, because, a few weeks ago, a month or two ago, there was discussion, okay, is Valve ever going to put out another headset? A lot of people thought, no, man, Valve is done. They've done their thing. But clearly they are still focusing on the technology. Even so, that Gabe seems to be a dreamer, and he's going to make things happen that nobody else is even thinking about making happen. So it is exciting in that respect.
You know what's going to be hilarious, Roots? Because Valve is going to come out with a consumer version of this Valve Index headset with all of these little sensors and things on it, and they're going to do it sooner rather than later because, like AI technology, the more data that they have to study, the faster the technology will grow. So they're going to get these devices out there because they need the data. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to develop this really super awesome Valve Index headset, call it Index 2. It's got all these amazing next gen features, and they're going to get it out there at a reasonable price so that they can take people's data. And you're going to have to opt into the data sharing if you want to use this device. And all of these people that have crucified Facebook for putting out this next gen Quest 2 headset with all of these bells and whistles just so they can take your data, they're going to have to do exactly the same thing, only they're going to be praising Valve for it, where they're crucifying Facebook for it.
Well, Lord Gaben can do no wrong, bro. Like, I think, this is my assumption. I have not proven it yet, but I'm sure if we had a camera of Gerillo, he'd have a big picture of Gabe right behind him doing the thumbs up. Because there are people out there that Valve can do no wrong. Everybody's store is crap except for Steam, and it's all Valve, dude, 24/7.
Right. So here we have Apple and Valve, which are pushing or are effectively going to push Facebook into to acceleration of their plans. But here we have Facebook, who's already killing it, getting a foothold in the market. And we're starting to see again all of these big companies. Kind of the VR race is starting now, right? Facebook, Apple, Valve, all of these different tech companies, all rushing because it's obvious now what VR is going to be. And then we have Sony. What do you think? Sony's just going to sit back and wait till 2023, 2024 to release PSVR 2 now? No chance in hell. We're going to start to hear about this thing this year. And if they don't launch it this year, they're going to launch it next year.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the minute Sony has comparable tracking and comparable controllers, the bar gets raised 100% because their titles and their what they do with their games and their software, in my opinion, is way superior than most other companies. They have their finger on the pulse of everything, and that's the two things that have held back the PlayStation VR is the tracking and the controllers. And once they get those, it's on, bro. And I think you're right. I think this has pushed them even faster. And I'm excited to see. I mean, I might get back into the PlayStation VR once that happens. Actually, it's not even a might. It's a no-brainer. But it's interesting. Mepper kind of made my point. Exactly what I said. He said, I'm pretty sure Valve wouldn't use the data the same way Facebook does. And I just think that, and it's not a knock at Mepper, but I just think that's a naive way to look at it. Any company that's that big, that has that many users, they're looking for a way to get your data, and sell it and use it and do whatever they can to make their company bigger. Valve is no different. And it's weird to me that people like put them off to the side like they're not I don't know, man. It's weird to me. So
Like they're not the monopoly in PC gaming, and anybody who tries to challenge them gets attacked viciously by their fanboys.
yeah, well, absolutely. But yeah, I just think that Valve is way too big for them to be. It's the same thing with this mind reading thing. It's like, oh man, you're paranoid, dude. They would never take anything. They would never read stuff out of there that they're not supposed to. I just think that that's how you end up waking up, pulling stuff out of your chest and coming out of a pod in the Matrix. Is like there's just too much trust, man. Like the amount of the world is it's not roses and ice cream. It's a very cutthroat place, and big business is a completely different entity than just about anything. So
Jim Hall says it's apples to oranges comparing the Valve data collection to Facebook data collection. And I would answer that by saying, even though they might have different end goals, the methods of collection are the same. The carrot on the end of the stick is going to be the same. It's not exactly apples to oranges. I think it's a valid comparison.
yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I guess time will tell with all of this, but I think we're heading. You've said it before, and I've said it as well. I agree with you that we're everywhere you turn. It doesn't matter what it is. They're gathering our information from every company is taking that information, and they're using it in ways that you probably wouldn't like. And genie's out of the box. There's really no way to get around it unless you're going to cut yourself off from everything, and that's kind of hard to play
Yep.
VR.
Welcome to the new millennium. This is just the new normal. It's how it is, and it's only going to continue to become more a part of our life going forward.
Yeah.
But with regards to Sony, I do think that this is going to accelerate their plans a little bit, maybe a little bit. I don't think that it's actually going to accelerate the launch of the thing. I think that's probably already been determined, and it's going to come when it comes. But I think that they are going to start talking about VR more, getting people excited, letting people know, hey, PSVR 2 is a thing. Here's what it's going to do when it comes. I think we're going to start to hear stuff like that as early as this summer. I mean, I think it's going to be very soon. They're going to start dropping little nuggets about what the next PSVR 2 is going to be. And here's the kicker for you, Roots. Maybe you don't want people reading your mind, and maybe you could care less about social VR. Out of all of the major VR companies, which one is the most focused on gaming and just gaming? Sony. PSVR 2 will have some social aspects, but they're all going to be social gaming aspects. It's all going to be built around entertainment because that's where their focus has always been.
Yeah, that's true, and they do it well. So it's something that I look forward to PlayStation VR 2. I think it's going to be revolutionary. I mean, I don't know any other company that's got Tempest Audio. or anything near it. That's going to be a game changer when it comes to immersion, right? Having all those extra sounds. And I would be willing to bet that whatever controllers they do have are also going to have that new technology that the controllers for the PlayStation 5 have. Imagine touch controllers or touch controller like controllers, completely tracked, new tracking system, whatever, but you've got the the difference in feelings when you're pulling your trigger for different guns or whatever the difference is. I don't even know what all the difference is. You said you could feel like the each individual raindrop, right? So like or maybe it was hear it, but I just think that it's I just don't
You
think
can
people
feel
are,
it and hear it. You
yeah,
can
so I
feel it
think
and hear
I
it.
think it's going to be next level, and I think it's going to be a lot of crow to be eaten for some of the PC VR haters out there. You know who you are, and yeah, so it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be a great year next year because this is what I foresee happening. The Valve thing again, that's going to be way down the road. Developer kits are going out next year, but I could very well see in 2022 4 consumer facing VR headsets being released, all with kind of a different focus with what they want to achieve and different levels of technology. I think on the bottom of the totem pole, we're going to have Nintendo VR. And I think what Nintendo VR is going to be is pretty similar in capability to what the Quest 2 is right now. Again, this is next year, the year after. But what it's going to make up for uh, what it lacks in technical capability, as is the case with most Nintendo products, it's going to make up for with innovation and creativity in their games. So you're going to have all of the familiar IPs that we have all come to know and love since we were children, and they're going to utilize the tech in ways that nobody's ever thought of because that's what they do. Just above them, the next on the totem pole is going to be Sony and PlayStation VR 2. You're going to have something that's fairly advanced compared to the VR headsets of today. I think there will be eye tracking. I think that there's going to be a little wider field of view and a little crisper picture. We're not going to have any 8K displays. We're not going to have any varifocal, but we're going to have a pretty high end gaming focused headset that's somewhat affordable for people who have PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just say I agree, and I was going to say that I disagree with what Scion says. Nothing can lower the bar farther than Quest headsets. What were you saying about how many Steam VR people are using the Quest headsets after 6 months, and how many units got sold in that time frame? I don't know. People forget the mass introduction to VR of what the Quest is doing and the Quest 2, and where we were at 2 years ago when people like Linus were saying VR is dead because nobody was in it, and there wasn't population one with game that as many people coming into it to actually sustain a multiplayer shooter game. All of these things are forgotten. They don't. It's very bizarre to me, but it's very short-sighted in my opinion.
Half-Life Alex no doubt had an impact on the industry as a whole, but make no mistake about it, VR as a platform as a whole is where it is because of the advent of standalone VR, because VR finally became accessible to average, ordinary, everyday people. And I mean, they can crap on it all they want, but you know, PCVR is going to benefit greatly over the next 5 years because of the impact that standalone VR has had on the consumer base as a whole.
Well, look at the difference between Quest 1 and Quest 2 in 1 year and the processor power, right? And what they've done. So even if what Scion is saying is true, like how many iterations are we away from of headsets to where there's no distinguishable difference in what you're seeing and what you're getting game wise? Sure, there may have to be some things that they've got to tame down as far as graphically to make it work and work well in the Quest 2. But are we really naively thinking that standalone is only going to, that's where it's ending, bro? It's not going to get any more powerful. We're not going to see any of these things in future headsets. It's a stepping stone, you know, and it's a stepping stone that I'd like to see happen, because there's 46,000 people in Mash Daddy's Oculus Quest 2 group that are loving the fact that they actually get to be involved in this and in this whole thing. And I think that's part of it. I think there's a little bit of weirdness where, and we've said it before, certain people, this is their niche, and as much as they want it to be an amazing platform, that this is ours, you stay the hell out, dude, this is for us, you know. And we don't want it for the masses. We want to have our little niche, but we also want to have our cake and eat it too. And you can't do both. Like, either you're going to open it up to everybody and open up innovation for everybody, or you're going to keep a small knit thing. Because I say Facebook never bought Oculus, and it just was a company that was allowed to do what it was going to do. I think VR might be dead right now, because Facebook pumped in so much money, pumped in Rec Room. You know, people forget those days of the tech demos where it was frustrating, because you went in there after a while, you're like, okay, this is cool, but I want a real game. How many titles have we seen Facebook fund that were like Rec Room, for example, or any of these independent studios that they've brought into the fold to put out these amazing titles? I think that people discount what they've done. And I will end this little jaunt by saying I can't stand Facebook. I don't like them. But to negate what they've done for the industry is very weird to me.
Yeah, there were. I mean, when you think about the top 20 best PCVR games, what, half of them Oculus exclusive, more maybe, for sure.
Absolutely. Jim Hall says Linus didn't say VR is dead. It was a clickbait title. He's a bit fan of VR, always has been. He did absolutely say it was dead, and he changed his title a little bit. And maybe it was clickbaity, but that was the intent of that video, was like, hey, VR is not doing what it's going to do. And my point was, if Facebook wouldn't have came into the fold, it wouldn't have been a clickbaity title. It would have been real, or there's a good chance it would have been real. Like, there's only a small amount of time for stuff like this to take off. And VR was tried before as well. I mean, granted, it was way back in the day and it sucked, but it wasn't time for it, and it faded away. And it absolutely could have faded away this time without the money of Facebook, or even Valve with Half-Life Alyx at this point. But it all takes part of what happened or what's happening in VR. It's you know, Facebook, as much as I don't like them, has done a lot for VR. So
Yeah, exactly. You know, somebody like Sion would say that the Oculus Quest is holding back a game like Myst that would be this amazing, beautiful, you know, high res game with gigantic maps, if it weren't for the Oculus Quest holding it back. But he's assuming that there would even be a Myst for VR if it weren't for Oculus Quest. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, are they going to make that to sell 50, 100,000 copies? You know, who knows? I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but you can't just assume that all of these titles that Oculus Quest is holding back would have even come in the first place if it weren't for the promise of that profit that the developer knows that they're going to get.
Well, I'll tell you what. I would not keep myself from playing Walking Dead Saints and Sinners because Scion says it's not good, being that he's never played it, and being that he's never put the headset on his face for Quest 2 or Quest 1. It's hard for me to really take that not take that into consideration as well.
Saints and Sinners is a perfect example too, by the way. That's a game that's on every VR platform, and if anybody who says that game's being held back in any way, I think they're just, oh, they're wrong.
It's up to the developers, man. Just because, you know, why don't we look at the developers is what I would do. Like, just because it's been dumbed down to run really well on the Quest or Quest 2 graphically, doesn't mean that the developers can't put the time in to make it look that much better on the PC because you've got the
Exactly.
hardware. So let's look at the developers and say, why aren't you putting the time in? Why are you lazy? You know, and that's, I say that tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it's like it is viable. You can make the games that much graphically better. It's not, it's just more work for them. So
Yeah, exactly. And there needs to be a benefit for them to do that. So,
no, then I know you didn't say it wasn't good, Scion. I'm just saying that if you were to come out and say it's garbage, it's hard for me to not to take that seriously because you've never played it. That's my point. So, and a lot of these people that knock the Quest 2 have never tried it, and that's great. They don't have to. My point is like I said, there's groups out there like Mashes that got almost 50 grand, 1,000 people that are excited about VR that probably weren't a couple years ago. They just felt like it was something that they couldn't even get into. And with the shortages of getting back into shortages of video cards again, we're running into a point where it's not viable for a lot of people to build a VR PC computer at this point. And so they've got the Quest 2, and now they can be a part of the family, and they can experience something that we love, right?
yeah. And you know what these people who are buying Quest today are going to do tomorrow? A percentage of them are going to do what I did when I got my PlayStation VR. They're going to fall in love with it to the point where they're going to empty out their bank account to
Mm-hmm.
build one of these computers. And, you know, PCVR is going to benefit from it. Again, like I said earlier, Quest 2, the number 2 most used headset on Steam VR already, in spite of only being out a few months. That's pretty significant, if you ask me.
Yeah. And GamerChicks has a good point. Says the reality for VR is that the number one priority is accessibility. Everyone who is concerned for PC VR, that will always take second to making a headset more people will want to use, and that's true. Like even Mash has said, I think it was Mash. Somebody said that they grab their Quest 2 more than their Index, and because of the accessibility or the ease of it, right?
There's
It's
been a few people, not just him. There's been we have 3, 4, 5 people in our Discord who say that pretty regularly. So
yeah.
anyway, enough hardware. Okay, we've got exciting times ahead. Again, we've got we're going to have stuff from Nintendo. We're going to have stuff from Sony. We're going to have Facebook. We're going to have Apple. And then even further down the road, we're going to have a new Valve headset. And it's all going to have stuff that we can't even comprehend how amazing it's going to be in just a little bit of time from now. It's going to be here before you know it. And we're all going to be broke and happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to be broke, but I do want to be happy.
Well, we'll get there soon enough. But before we wrap it up, let's talk a little bit about some games. Let's talk about Maskmaker VR. Interspace VR, the studio behind 2019's A Fisherman's Tale, recently unveiled new details about their upcoming release, Maskmaker, showing a new gameplay trailer and confirming a release date. As the name suggests, gameplay revolves around making masks, which are crucial to exploration within various biomes. You make the masks by finding blueprints, often by scanning inhabitants within the 8 biomes. Then you go to your workshop where you can carve the base masks out of wood before using paint to give them some color. The mask can then further be lavished with shells, feathers, flowers, and other items specific to each region. Now, here's the thing. This is kind of the whole gimmick, if you will, the whole hook of this game is that making the inhabitants masks is highly important, as once you make and don their mask, you will inhabit their body, which will allow you to reach new areas and solve environmental puzzles. The gameplay is such that you can jump about between locations as you search for more adornments, providing a non-linear experience to explore as you see fit. So here's the whole concept with this thing, Roots. You have a fairly sizable open world before you with areas that you can't access. That you can go in whatever order you want, but you have to find items from over here to access the area over there. Upload VR is even calling this a Metroidvania game because of the way it plays. And the whole idea is each section of the map has its own inhabitants, its own guards. You scan them, you get the blueprint, you make their mask, you put on their mask, and it transforms you into their eyes. And by inhabiting them, you can unlock puzzles, unlock new areas of the map. And the reason why you need to get into these new areas of the map is so you can go find items to make more masks with and unlock the map even further. So it's kind of this action adventure puzzler game, but a very unique take on how you interact with the world and unlock new areas.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about in the Discord earlier today. It's like this is thinking outside the box. It's unique. It's like that. It's just different. It makes you want. I feel like you're gonna go into this world and you're gonna get this puzzle game, and it's gonna blow you away with just the different things you're doing, the world you're going to, and it's just different. Uh, so many puzzle games that are just I feel like kind of slapped out there, and it's very similar to other ones. I want innovation. I want gameplay. I want just something different. And this, I know, Fisherman's Tale did exactly that. So I give props to this developing studio that they seem to really want to change the way you approach things. And um, I like puzzle games like this. I don't know. It just looks cool.
Yeah, some really smart, creative people here at Interspace VR. You mentioned Fisherman's Tale. That's the kind of the title that they're known for. Again, much like Area X, another one that I never played Fisherman's Tale. But I feel like kind of I need to now because this game's coming and I'm really excited for this one. I started, thinking it looks pretty cool, but the more I learn about this, the more excited I get for it. This game looks awesome and it looks like something that I'm really going to enjoy.
Yeah, me too. I think it's definitely going to be good. And we only have to wait a couple weeks, right?
Yeah. The game is no more than a couple weeks, couple months. The game's coming out on April 20th
Oh, I thought it was this
for
month.
PlayStation VR, HTC Vive, Valve Index, and Oculus Rift.
Oh, cool. I'm excited now. Oh yeah, it does say April
Uh,
20th. 420,
right,
bro.
right. I didn't see who it was. Somebody was asking how long is the game? The game is estimated to run 5 to 6 hours for the story, but the mass creation sandbox workshop style gameplay can extend it even further. So you're looking at a minimum 5. I would call it a 5 to 8 hour game.
Yeah, sounds good. And hard to get. So, or no, actually, Spry Guy said Fisherman's Tale is good. Letting you know. I think it's good. I definitely played through most of it. I need to finish it myself, but it's definitely a good game.
Yeah, most people say that. Like, I don't think I've heard anybody say anything bad about it. So, like, and it's that same. I mean, it does a lot of things that I like. It plays with scale. It's uh, got a cool story, to it. It does so many different things. It's a very artistic game. Uh, no good reason why I haven't played it. I just haven't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Uh, Jim Hall says it has questical graphics, so let's just throw it out with the bathwater. It's garbage.
Yeah,
Um,
trash.
it's
Good
trash, dude.
garbage.
Um,
Um, but I'm really excited for Maskmaker. It's got elements that remind me of like Golem. Golem, you have this thing where you kind of can just jump through a portal by holding it up to your face. I feel like that's kind of what this is going to do. And another upcoming title, Flow Weaver, has a similar mechanic, and I'm excited to check that one out as well.
yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say that was one of the Steam demos, but it's not. Yeah, I think Flow Weaver actually would be pretty cool. So.
But anyway, just wanted to give this update on Maskmaker. Not going to have to wait very long. And also, Roots on the Vive port coming soon list. I don't know if that means it's going to go to straight to Infinity or not, but it's on the list there.
I don't know, man. With the way Infinity's going these days, I would bet it's going to be there, man. They're getting so many good titles. So
Let's see here. Sion says, what game doesn't have questical graphics these days? Well, that's a good question. None that really sell, maybe, well, I can't even think of one. They all suck.
yeah. Yeah.
Jim
Well,
Hall says, wear 2 masks, better than one.
yeah, maybe 4 or 5, bro.
Maskmaker VR. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't had Maskmaker VR yet. It's like a work program, not a game.
I'll tell you what, that's what Technoglitch was saying. He said he's tired of the mask. That does kind of like when I go into Pop One and there's a person that you can get one of the skins as you progress in levels that has a bandana on, and I just got to that and I refuse to wear it because I'm forced to wear it in real life. I'm not gonna bring it into my games, bro. Now I'll make an exception for Maskmaker because the game is the mask, so you can't get around it.
Technoglitch 666 says 420 social. Hey, that's right. 420 Maskmaker's coming out. Happy birthday, Hitler. Hope you like masks.
Yeah.
Oh, Eileen Cara says, I'll pass. I already wear a mask everywhere I travel.
Yeah. Well, at least this is a virtual one, man. And they're not forcing you to wear it. You can you just get to put it on if you want to go to a new place. So.
Gamer Chick says that she watched our earlier segment and it's pronounced Bus E. Steve Bussy, not Busey. So sorry, Mr. Busey. I'll try to make a mental note of that, and I'm sure I'll screw it up next time. So sorry, Bussy. Bussy.
Bussy. Yeah. Scion says he
Bussy.
can't wait 20 years for the mobile to catch up to the PC because, technology is crawling, bro. Like, technology, if you didn't notice the iteration between the Quest 1 and Quest 2, there's like almost no difference in that chip at all. So we'll see. I think we'll be singing a different tune when the next Quest or whatever Oculus drops. So.
Well, to be clear, and I don't want to get back off on that same tangent again, but the cutting edge is always going to be on PC. The technical limit of what the technology is capable of is always going to be on the PC, obviously, because the PC not only is more expensive equipment, but it's modular, it's upgradable, constantly, forever upgradable. So obviously, it's always going to be the top of the line. When you hear about these new features like the features that Valve are putting in their headset, it's going to be 20 years before there's a mobile headset that's powerful enough to run stuff like that. So this is going to be the role of PC VR is not going anywhere. The most amazing experiences will always be on PC, but if you want AAA games, then we have to have a consumer marketplace, and to short sell all the good things that the other platforms are doing for VR, and only focusing on like the one negative thing, I feel is short sighted.
Thanks.
That's all we're saying.
Yep.
All right, one more game to talk about this week: Vanishing Grace. This is something that I actually. This is a long-standing demo on SideQuest, but it has now popped up on the coming soon section of the Oculus Quest Store, promising a February release. Vanishing Grace is a narrative puzzle game set in a near future where a solar storm has changed life on Earth. You play as Joel, a civil servant who has a quiet life until one day he discovers that Grace, his childhood friend, has disappeared. Her craft has reached the Citadel unmanned. As Joel, you'll pilot Grace's craft and travel around desolate wastelands while you discover the story behind her mysterious disappearance. Roots, a fairly short demo, but most everyone who played this thing was extremely impressed with the level of quality. Most people said that this seems like a game, a proper game that you would find on the official Quest store. Well, here we are, time for full release of this game, and indeed, that's exactly what's happening. It's getting an official release on the Oculus Quest store.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because Lipnox VR just said, "What's up, guys? This demo was awesome." Right as you were saying that, so apparently, I mean, it looks awesome. Look, the gameplay looks awesome. That's the thing, you know. I want to see gameplay in these games, and this just looks like it's going to be a really cool game to play. I get the boomerang stuff, Wes. Like, who doesn't want to throw a boomerang in 2021? You know, you get to hit stuff and it comes back, and you don't even have to move. It's just my dream.
Yeah, you ever try throwing a boomerang in real life, Roots?
Yeah, it is not as it really takes some actual technique, bro. Like, you have to throw it a certain way to have it come back. And then I like playing guitars as well. So no, this looks pretty cool for sure.
You ever tried playing a guitar in real life, Roots?
No, I have not. That's too much work for me, man. I got Guitar Heroes. I can pretend like I'm a rock star and I'm always good.
That's the beauty of VR. Boomerangs come back and guitars sound beautiful the first time you pick them up.
Yeah, I guarantee if I strum, I'm going to be an expert in this game. So, no, this is one that wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even know this thing existed before this week, and I think this might be one that I was telling you, for the most part, I just don't. I'm not interested in demos for games because it's a demo, and it's even worse than a beta to me. It's like you don't you get the short snippet. But I might go into this one and check it out because it does look pretty good, and I'm kind of interested to see what the demo is. So
Oculus Quest exclusive.
yeah, well, I'll tell you what. This is one of those things that, as we've said, with the Quest exclusives, we have no idea if that is timed or whatever. My guess is eventually it'll go to another platform. Patience, Padawan, patience, and
Right.
you can experience it too, just like everybody else with the Quest 2, without the hit on your pocket.
Yeah, yeah. Monte Perdido, the developer behind this game, has confirmed to Upload VR that the game will launch on Quest February 11th for $20. So not much money, right? $20 game. I mean, it's solid enough to so that you don't get worried, right? Like it's if it were $10, I'd be like, probably not going to be much game here. But $20 game on Quest 2. I feel pretty good about it, Roots. I feel like it's going to be a good time. Maybe not the longest game in the world, but I think we're going to have 3 to 5 hours of good story based puzzling here.
Yeah, $20. That's a good deal. That's like you don't even bat an eye at $20. Although I remember not too long ago when people, if a $20 game came out, people were like, "Oh, it must suck." What was that one um, spy game or whatever? Everybody freaked out about. It was like it's a weird conundrum. It's if it's too cheap, then people immediately assume it sucks. If it's too expensive, they bitch. I just think that humanity doesn't know what it wants, Wes, at all.
Zion says he can't wait to see what it looks like on PC VR
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can't either. I think it's going to be amazing. You know,
because it looks like garbage here, right?
I see. I don't think it does look like garbage, but people are also discounting the clarity of the Quest 2 versus, like, say a CV1. I guarantee it's going to look better. And they're also discounting the gameplay and being in the game. How many times do we say we look at a trailer and we're like, oh, it looks okay, even the best game, but until you get in there and you're there, it blows you away. Totally different story. So
Yeah, yeah, and I would add, especially with the Quest 2 enhanced games. I mean, those aren't that far under a PC game. The ones that have Quest 2 enhancements, a lot of them are very visually impressive. Now, Upload states that this title could see Quest 2 enhancement in the future. So it won't be Quest 2 enhanced at launch. You'll be getting the Quest 1 version. And if this is the Quest 1 version, I can only imagine what a Quest 2 version would look like.
well, and people discount all the things you can do with the Quest 2. You can beef it up, man. especially if it's a Quest 1 title. You can do the higher core, you can make the resolution better, you can sharpen everything a lot more, and see absolutely no hit in performance, and that's amazing. So
The Scion feels the need to make sure we know that he's trolling. We know you're trolling, Scion, and we're just playing along with it because it's fun.
yeah.
This is what's fun about our community. You know, if we didn't have the same conversation 10 times a year, it just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm open for a new elf for Gauntlet, because you're dead to me, bro. No, just kidding. Um yeah, it's all fun and games, bro. Like, I don't ever take it to heart. Although I just want to make sure that people know that Quest 2 is an amazing product and people love it. So
Yeah, yeah. No, don't worry about Facebook stealing all of your data. They got it anyway, dude. They don't need your permission. They'd like to have it, but they're going to take it anyway. So,
yeah, especially if you use it. If you use Facebook, if you've gotten a Facebook account, they got your info. They just want to have it legally in stone.
but they don't know what I'm doing in the headset, man. That's what really upsets me. Like they knew everything about me already, except for what I like to play. Now they've gone too far.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's just over the line, right?
New releases this week, Roots. We have come to the section of our show where we give our viewers some nice weekly reminders. This week, we're reminding people that were a few new releases this week. Unfortunately, for some of us, 3 out of the 4 of them were Oculus Quest. First of all, Wolfenstein 3D came to Quest Z Doom. This is from our Lord Dr. Beef, and came out on February the 4th at no extra cost. So this is just another free VR port of a classic boomer shooter. Roots, I don't have Quest C Doom. I think I should get it. There's like 5 different titles in that thing now.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it, but I will say that for anybody that doesn't have the Quest 2, you're in luck. This came out on PC a year ago, so you still can play it. It's just now it's been ported over to the Quest as well as the next game as well. I think is Scion's Baby in VR. He's been playing that in PC VR for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and Roots was talking about Satan VR. Is that how you pronounce that, Roots?
Oh yes,
Satan?
Soft C.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Satan.
Yeah, or is it Satan or Catan?
It's Catan. Catan VR. Every time I see that word, though, all I see is Satan. So, or Caton. Caton VR.
You know, I'll tell you what
Uh,
about this game. Scion got me into this game, and I mean, haven't played it much, but he got me to play with him a couple times, and this is very strategic, man. There's a lot to this game. It is not. It's definitely a thinking person's game as far as how you're going to win. I know I give Scion a hard time, but he's actually done a lot of I guess I don't know if they're considered tournaments or what they are, but he's been in competitions for this game, and
so is this a card game in VR?
yeah, it's a card game. It's a board game basically, where you're playing it in VR with the other 4 people sitting around doing their thing, or 3 people. But it's one of those games that just trying to figure out the strategy to it. There's a lot of strategy to it. So,
Is there an advantage to playing card games in VR?
well, I don't
Is there
know.
like is there cool effects and stuff? Yeah,
Well,
there it is. See, that's what I was asking. Do little crap pop out of the board? Are there little animations and stuff when you do your moves and things like that?
I think a lot of it is, and like a lot of these games, it's just the ease of it, right? You don't have to set the board up. You don't. I mean, it's all there. You're just doing your thing. But yeah, it does look like there's some coolness to it. Plus, you're in a Catan room. Who doesn't want to be in a Catan room these days, right?
I saw the coolest thing the other day, and it made me think of Radio Runt. It's Radio Runt that always plays the board games, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's got board game night on Mondays.
Yeah, I saw the coolest thing on CNET the other day, and it's this. It's a board gaming table, and the entire tabletop is touchscreen. Like the whole thing is
Oh wow.
touchscreen, and it's a pretty big table, and it's got like 500 of the top uh, I mean, maybe it was 100, 500. It's got all the best board games programmed into it so that it just, you pick what you want to play and it just sets it up for you automatically. And you can have players sit around the table and play, or it connects to the internet and you can play online with other
Hmm.
people, provided, of course, that they have the table at their house and can play with you. But it's cool, man. You can play Monopoly. You don't have to have a banker. The games go a lot faster because all that extra stuff gets cut out and you're just playing the game. But it had cool animations and it really looked nice. And I thought it looked cool. And I'm not even, that into board games. I thought Radio Rent would probably love it.
I bet he'd love it. Yeah. Well, my question is, does it have Mousetrap? That's the board game I want in there because that's a pain in the ass to set up. And I would love to have a Mousetrap VR game where I could go in there and do my thing. But I don't know if it's coming.
Trying to remember what it had. I remember it had Monopoly and Battleship. It had Trouble. It had Sorry. It had it had a bunch. It had a bunch of games on it.
Okay. Well, cool. I mean, the next question is probably expensive, I would imagine, right? Because if you got a table that's
Yeah.
completely tabletop, you almost just get yourself a headset and get whatever that one game is, at tabletop game or whatever, where you can flip the table over and destroy it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, before I would buy that, I would get that the Nreal tabletop thing. Have you seen that? It's like
Mm-mm.
an AR. You have these like sunglasses that you have to put on so that you can actually see the AR. But the way it works is it kind of projects off of this mat that they give you. So you lay this mat over the tabletop, and it's legit good AR. And it wasn't that expensive either. It was only like I don't know, a few $100s for this thing when it was in Kickstarter.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool for like movies too, or whatever, for the people that don't want to be in VR, that want to have that AR experience.
Technoglitch said that you could be the wizard in Satan VR.
Oh yeah, I'm the wizard, bro. In Gauntlet, but man, that the wizard's got so many cool moves, Wes. I love it.
Anyway, Catan VR came to Oculus Quest this week from developer Experiment 7 on February 5th, $15. So not very much money if this is your sort of deal. I mean, it's on everything now, right? Except for PlayStation.
Yeah, but my question is, like, say if you had this on Quest and you went on in against Scion and he's in his PC, he's going to have an advantage because he's on the PC oh wait, no, it's going to make no difference. I think what will make a difference is the player pool. You might actually get more people into the game now that it's going to be on a headset that's mass adopted and so many people have it, right? So
It's just gonna no. What it's gonna mean is that Sion's gonna go in to play a fresh game of Satan VR, and as soon as he loads into the lobby, there's gonna be a bunch of kids in there going, ah,
yeah,
ah,
yeah, that's
and it's
true.
gonna ruin it forever.
You just mute those people.
Lipnock says it is on PSVR, so my bad. I didn't even know that.
Wow. Well, it's pretty cool, man. I think it's good. Any multiplayer game, why would you not want to have as many people as you can in the player pool? And so that's pretty cool. Look, you got all those masks, man. You can change your mask. You could be a cat. It's cool.
Yeah, and then if you make that mask and have the cat's fur, then you can possess that person and gain access to their bedroom.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh, wow, that would be weird. I don't want to go
I
into
just
some.
made that part up, but that'd be cool anyway.
Yeah.
Propagation VR co-op DLC came out this week, Rude. So Propagation VR, a very awesome looking free title on Steam. It's a wave shooter. Takes about 30 minutes to play through it. People just raving about this thing. It's horror themed, apparently very intense experience. But these guys are smart. They know what people want, right? They say you want co-op, you can have co-op, $10. And you know what? That might seem like a lot for a free game that you can play in 30 minutes. Co-op's worth $10, right?
Yeah, it's worth it for sure. It's definitely funny to me though, like because I've seen a lot of people raving about it, and I'm imagining it's really cool. Radio Runt nopes out right at the spiders, but um, you know, it's a wave shooter, right? And people crap all over wave shooters. It's weird. It's like people will crap all over everything, and then, but this one's different. I have no problem with wave shooters if they're good. And this one looks really good. I know I saw Delirium Drew with Void, I think, did a video recently. I haven't had a chance to check it out or streamed it. And some of the other gamer tag, and a lot of people have been really raving about this game. So I might have to check it out, even if it's not the DLC co-op, but I'm pretty sure it will be the DLC co-op. So
Yeah, I've got a question about this because, like, you pay $10, and what it does is it gives you the ability to invite people into your game. You get to host people in a co-op session of this wave shooter. My question is, do both players have to have the co-op DLC, or can one person buy it and invite anybody else who has the game into it?
that's a good question. I don't know. I do say they say that this thing is creepy as heck, right, man? And I definitely it looks creepy. And I definitely plan on using a double dose of diapers if I go in there, because the game just told me
It
to.
looks cool. It looks like if you like Doom, that this is kind of your thing. And guess what I like, Roots?
This
I
guy,
like Doom.
Spry Guy says this is really cool, really good, but it's really short. So, and I don't know if you mean by really short, is that 30 minutes or is that less? You know, it's good. It's a good hope. Maybe they make a another DLC that's longer. Maybe they're working on that right now for all we know, right?
Yeah. I mean, for $10, I mean, how much game do you need?
Yeah, it's just
2 hours, hour, 2 hours,
it's
right?
really smart. The way that this dev is, or these devs have done it, right? Because they're getting their name out there. They're letting people try it for free, and then they're bringing in the DLC to get your friends in there. And then I would be willing to bet that there's more content coming with another DLC. That would be my guess anyway. I don't think it stops here, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
You'd think so. I mean, as big as a hit as this has been, it would make sense for this to just kind of end up being a demo for the larger full release like a year from now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice story. Cool. Who doesn't want to kill things in VR, right? Get attacked by weird monsters and creatures. Spry Guy says 30 minutes is about right. So, the thing is, like you said here, he was saying $10 is a little steep for a short game, but you don't have to pay $10. You can play it for free. You just won't be able to do it with your friends, theoretically, unless what Wes said is true or speculated. Maybe if you own the $10 DLC, you can still invite people that don't have it. I don't know how that
No.
works.
Lipnox VR, quote, allowing you to create and join two-player
Oh,
games with your Steam friends or with anyone in the world. So it looks like you have to pay to join as well.
yeah. Well, it's definitely worth $10, I think, for what I'm seeing here without playing it. So,
15% off, so $8.50 right now.
oh God, it's a no-brainer.
And last but not least on our list of new releases, release coming up, we already mentioned it, February 11th, Vanishing Grace comes to Oculus Quest. I hope to get a try this one. I think it looks cool.
I think you will. I think you're going to be able to try this one. It's not that expensive, right? You can at least try the demo. I don't know if you've tried the demo or not yet. I know you've been going into a lot of these Steam games, checking them out. I guess this is a different type of demo since it's a Quest exclusive, or Quest 2.
That's
So
just the thing. I've just got so much stuff to play. And then on top of that, I've been playing flat games too. So like,
it takes up
like,
some time, right?
it
Dude,
does. It's very time
I
consuming.
played some, and I'll talk more about it probably on Wednesday, but I played some World of Warcraft in virtual desktop for 4 hours yesterday, leveling the new expansion, and the time flew by, bro. All of a sudden, my 4 hour stream was over, and I was like, "What the hell, dude?" It was really cool.
Yeah, I played Resident Evil 8 demo yesterday and
Ooh,
captured it, uploaded it to my brand spanking new flat pancake gaming channel called Bacon Pancakes. Link down below if you're interested in watching me play some flat games. That'll be the first video. It'll be up in a day or two.
nice.
Brings us to our next reminder, which is the wish list. We ask each and every one of you, as you're watching this right now with us in real time, to do your part to help support these developers that bring us all these awesome games. What can you do, you might ask? Well, you can help support their game by going to your platform of choice, be it Steam, be it Oculus, be it PlayStation. Let's all go there together right now and wishlist a game. This helps the developers by raising the profile of their game within the platform, as well as allowing them to judge interest in their game so that they can make pricing decisions and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. And then also it helps you out because like if you're interested in the game, when it goes on sale, they will email you and say, "Hey, dude, this game's on sale, bro." That way you don't miss it. Because I don't know how many times I've heard from people, "Oh, this was on sale last week," and well, it's too late now. I've missed it, and now I'm going to pay full price or not play the game at all. So
100% going for Maskmaker VR.
yeah,
I think that game looks awesome. That's going to be my wish list item for this week.
absolutely. Same here.
Get the store to come up. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
All
Spry
right.
Guy has a good point. Don't forget to do the clicks, man. Hit the likes, hit the subscribe, do all the clicks, and we appreciate that. And not only that, but and I don't know if a lot of people know this about the YouTube algorithm as well. Comments, man, comments, comments, comments. Even if you go down there and say, "Roots, your beard's looking awesome. I love it, bro." That actually helps push the videos as well. So I've been trying to go back to the videos and also comment on your comments for that exact reason as well. So
Yes, I'm normally pretty quick about replying to comments, but every now and then I'll take a week, like I did this past week, where I let it get ahead of me, and I spent pretty close to an hour this morning just replying to all of the comments from the last week.
yeah, it's funny because I don't normally log into the Virtual Strangers YouTube, so I don't have the notifications to see, so I have to go to the video and physically look. So that's why it takes me a little bit longer. Because I want to comment under I Am Roots, because if we're both commenting under the Virtual Strangers thing, it could get very confusing on who's talking to you. So
Yeah. All right. So Maskmaker VR, definitely on my wish list. April 20th.
yeah, and
Uh,
one of the best ones to wish list on there, and I kind of question your soul if you don't own this game already, but Walking Dead, man, wish list it, get it, buy it, it's good.
which one? Onslaught?
Oh yeah, Onslaught for sure. I still need to try that one, man. If I can get it for like $10, I saw it half price, and I said this when it first came out. Oh, I'd buy it half price, and then I didn't do it. But I am gonna play through that game at some point because it is Walking Dead, and I think it does have it's worth playing through. From what I see, I just have a hard time parting with my money. With like you said, there's so many games out there, but yeah, not Onslaught, Saints and Sinners.
VR Spry Guy says, don't forget to hit the like button. And Lipnox VR says, and hit the bell so you're not late.
Ooh, that's
And
true.
Lipnox says that a comment and a like from the same person makes a huge effect.
It does.
And we're all about the huge effects here.
You know who else is about the huge effects?
My mom!
She is.
That's right. Indeed. All right. Our next reminder, my favorite reminder, Roots free stuff and killer deals. It's time, and as has been the case recently in recent weeks, probably for about a solid month. PlayStation, the PlayStation network, basically taking the monopoly on all the free stuff and killer deals. First of all, we have our PlayStation Plus reminder for February. We got new games, Roots. In February, as I mentioned last week, February, quite the month on PlayStation Plus Network. First of all, Concrete Genie, a game which does indeed have some limited VR support. Concrete Genie, part of PS Plus. Now, also, Control Ultimate Edition just came out. Uh, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 roots. They're giving away the game on both platforms. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of one of those cross-buy deals where if you have one, you have both. And this is an amazing game, and it's free. It's
Yeah,
free if you have PlayStation Plus.
that's my favorite
Um,
price. Free.
so just those two there would be a great month, any month for PlayStation Plus. But that's not all, Roots. If you have PlayStation 5, Destruction All Stars just released, Roots. It's a brand new game. It just came out, AAA game, free on
Wow.
PlayStation Plus. Day one it releases, it's free on PlayStation 5.
Wow. That's awesome, man. PlayStation, Sony sure knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I mean, that's a lineup, dude. Concrete Genie, Control Ultimate Edition, and Destruction All Stars. Two PS4 games, two PS5 games. I mean, you can't beat that.
nah, you know what? You also can't beat Resident Evil 7 at $10, right? That is a
Yeah, man. Resident Evil 7 at $10. And the only reason I would ever hesitate to tell people to pick this up is because last week the gold edition was $20, and the gold edition has all the DLC and stuff. But for $10, you kind of have a little spending room left to pick up the DLC.
man. How many
So,
people probably love the fact that they've been waiting to get into RE7, and regardless of what people say, there's something to be able to turn on your VR and just put it on and not have to adjust a bunch of settings and have some of the weird jank and the ghosting from the gun and this and that with Vorpex. This is the OG. This is the way it was meant to be played when it was released. And it's still to this day one of the creepiest, scariest games that has gotten my mouth to spew profane things like no other. So much so that I took my gameplays down because it's just too much. As far as the cursing, it is very sketch, man. Jack is he's something else, bro.
terrifying.
He's
You know,
terrifying.
when I was playing the Resident Evil 8 Village demo yesterday, just some of the sound effects and familiar interactions in the game kind of flashed me back to RE7 and VR. I can't wait for 8 to come out, man. I can't wait to play it in VR.
That's gonna be amazing.
Hard to Get says, oh, he's not asking me. He's asking Lipnox VR, how does Saints and Sinners look on Quest compared to PSVR? It depends on if you're talking about Quest 1 or Quest 2. It's a very different question, depending on which Quest you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, so other things that are on sale. Well, Dreams isn't on sale. Dreams is actually taking a permanent price cut to $20. And here you go. Endless VR content, uh, aim controller support, move controller support, a very, very noticeable visual upgrade on PlayStation 5. All of these things and more you get with Dreams, and $20 is just kind of ridiculous for it.
Yeah, dude. That's just a no-brainer, right? So much content for $20.
Lipnox says that uh, haven't had a chance to play it on my Quest 2, but the colors look duller and lighting effect is scaled back on Quest 1. Hard to Get says Quest 2. Now, I have played it on the Quest 2 as well as the PlayStation VR, and it's a question of trade offs. It's debatable which one is better because on the PlayStation, you're going to get more complex uh, textures, more detail in the textures and in the environment. You're going to get a world that's slightly more filled out with more assets than you get on Oculus Quest. But what the Oculus Quest 2 version gives you is sharpness and clarity that the PlayStation version don't have. And in terms of assets, it's very close. Now, the Quest 1 version, the world is a bit barren. There is noticeably less um, there are noticeably less assets in the Quest 1 version. The Quest 2 version is much closer to the PlayStation version in that regard. And what it lacks in um, detailed textures, it makes up for in clarity and sharpness. Obviously because um, it has those panels, those screens in there, and there's pretty much no foveated rendering. It's clear all the way to the edge of the lenses. So it's really debatable, and I really couldn't pick one to tell you which one is the better. I mean, because Quest has so much other stuff going for it as well. That outside of visuals, I mean, there's the fact that you're untethered. There's the superior tracking. Um, so it really just depends on what's more important to you, which one is better.
Yeah, it's all subjective, but we do know is either way, it's better on both platforms. One game of the year, Quest and PlayStation VR. So
And Island Kara wants to know, what about Quest 3? Well, the Quest 3 is definitely superior because you can not only feel the sliminess and textures as you grab the zombies by the head, but you can smell them as well. It's a
smell-o-vision.
whole new level of immersion, and it's definitely superior to the Quest 2 or the PlayStation version. Now, when it comes to Spry Guy's question about the Index 2, this is the best version. This is the best version because the zombies, um, they know what scares you. And it seems like every time you start to get scared, something, startles you a little bit. All of a sudden, there's an avalanche of this thing that just makes you want to nope out. So it's way more immersive than any of the other versions. But on the other hand, you can't play it for as long because you just basically end up ripping the headset off.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rip-off moment for sure.
And Lipnox points out that the Quest version is cross-buy, so you do get the PCVR version if you plan on getting a PC. So that is true.
That is true. And I don't know. For me, it would be a no-brainer just because the not being tethered and then the tracking would supersede the little bit of color that you're losing or whatever. And like you said, the sharpness, no shimmer, no foveated rendering, all those things would lead me towards the Quest 2 version over the PlayStation VR. But you got the PlayStation VR, it's still going to be the best game on the platform, and you're still going to enjoy it. So
And yeah, and you know what? Knowing these developers and the quality of work that they do, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't put out one of these PlayStation 5 enhancement patches, like we saw from Blood and Truth, like we saw from Dreams, like what there was another one quite famously that looks beautiful on PlayStation 5. Squadrons looks really good on PlayStation 5. Traveling Man wants to know about Quest X Series X. Well, Quest X Series X version is great, man, because not only do you get that wider field of view, but it's tetherless. The problem is it constantly stutters, so you can't really play it.
yeah.
Techno Glitch 666, did you smoke that Wizard Satan weed? Only for about 15 years of my life. So yes. And what was the question?
You forgot already.
No Man's Lipnox VR says No Man's Sky got a huge one. You know who loves it when someone has a huge one?
My mom!
Oh, she does.
Yeah, Lipnox. That's right. That's what I was trying to think of. No Man's Sky. Apparently, No Man's Sky is this religious experience now on PlayStation 5.
It's got to be, man, because it's a religious experience on the PC VR as well. So I need to get back into that, Wes. Like that is a game that I just haven't spent enough time, and I blame people like Spry Guy that give you advice on how to to do it the game, the best way, but then they won't come in and put you in their backpack and carry you along. So
Hard to Get says, if I remember correctly, there's no foveated rendering for Saints and Sinners on PS4 Pro. That might be the case now. Like when I played Saints and Sinners on PlayStation 4, it was like launch week, right? So I'm not so sure that was the case then. Maybe it was, but I remember there was Pop In. That was really the big visual complaint with it on PlayStation, but they knocked that out quickly. Like they stamped it out within a few days, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
All right, let's see. What else is on sale? Wipeout, $13, Roots. Arguably the best racer in VR. $13.
Yeah, arguably. Some people would say Grip is better, but Wipeout, I never got into Wipeout as much. And being that you've played both and you feel like Wipeout is better, I would probably lean towards that just because I respect your opinion in that respect.
And it's not just that. This is like Hitman. This is 3 full-length titles in one
That's true.
package.
That is true.
Yep. Thumper. In my opinion, the most underrated rhythm game by far. $4. And this is a game that's good on every platform. I've played it on PC. I played it on Quest 1 and 2. I played it on PlayStation, Slim and Pro. Just an awesome game every time I play it.
Kind of hard too once you get on a little bit further on. It actually takes rhythm. So if you don't have rhythm, eh, you might have a problem because it actually gets to be pretty technical as far not technical hard, but like just hitting those notes or hitting the thing at the right time, turning around that corner. I always want to turn the wrong way and then I crash and I'm like, God dang it, you know?
Yeah, you got to have dexterous thumbs to play this game. I mean,
Yep.
it's
Absolutely.
it's challenging.
It
Yeah.
is.
And it's visually quite striking too, like a rhythm game with bosses. I mean, I want this more out of rhythm games like we have now. And speaking of which, by the way, we got to get into Pistol Whip 2089. People keep like raving about this thing.
Yeah. I don't own it at this moment. I don't know if you do. You own Pistol Whip?
Yeah, I've got Pistol Whip.
Oh, do you have it on the Steam?
I have it on Oculus because
Okay.
I got for the crossbar. I got it on Oculus.
Okay. Yeah. So
somebody else had it on.
Alex did back in the day, but
yeah.
I don't have access to either account anymore. So
yeah, you probably should pick it up. I mean, next time it's on sale, it's worth owning, in my opinion. Even if you only play it once every blue moon.
I had an offer from Gamertag that one time to pay for half of it when it was on sale, and I didn't do it. But I also was really strapped for cash. I didn't even have the $10 at the time, so for half of it, so I just declined.
Well, noted. So if it doesn't come to Viport next week, maybe we'll figure something out. Get Roots some Pistol Whip, or I guess you could just log into my Oculus and play it. But I don't even know if we can do that anymore now that they've integrated Facebook in there.
I would rather not to, just because I don't want to mess up your account. You know, that's one of the things that I was saying about. Somebody was suggesting I do World of Warcraft and Helix Vision or Vorpax, and I was like, if my account disappeared, I would cry because I spent so much time in that game to have it disappear, and I would feel even more so about your Oculus account. Would suck, bro. To feel like I
don't think you'd be able to get in. Like I've tried to log into my Oculus in the web browser when my wife's logged into her Facebook, and it wouldn't let me do it. Even if after I put my password and stuff in, it told me that I couldn't do that. I had to log in with Facebook.
Okay. Well, each their own. I think it's wise to stay away from doing it anyway at this point, especially since we've openly talked about it right now. We're never going to do that, Oculus. It's blasphemous. We would never do that to your platform.
Yeah, never. So anyway, Thumper at $4 is a great deal. Crisis Brigade at $4 is a great deal.
Yeah, this is a really good deal. And this is one of those things, if you're sad that you don't have a Quest 2 and you don't get to be a part of the side or the app lab, you can get it for your PlayStation VR and you can enjoy an amazing game that I need to get through and beat this thing, man. I've gotten pretty far in the first one. The second one is so ridiculously hard. I don't know if I'll ever beat it unless I go co-op. So
Crisis Brigade 2 also on sale for $10.
Wow, dude, that's a good deal. $10. Jump on it.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. Like I've already got these games on PC, and they're on Infinity, if I'm not mistaken. These are Viport Infinity titles, but Considering picking them up again on PlayStation because why, Roots?
Co-op, right? With your family?
No.
No?
Aim controller support. This game
Oh,
supports aim controller. Both of them.
okay. Well, and that's a huge deal for PlayStation VR, man. That's like you're actually getting to, you know, feel like you can move around. There's not too much moving around in this game, though, right? Like as far as like,
Squatting.
yeah, so
Squatting.
yeah, so you're pretty much just standing still anyway, so you wouldn't have as much of the locomotion draw of the aim controller, which for me that was always the draw. Like this is the way I can feel like I'm really in VR with locomotion, like all the PC VR people have, without pushing buttons. Which like you said a million times, once you've done it, you just get used to it, and it's not that big a deal. I never got used to it.
Great workout. Probably a top 5 rail shooter in all of VR. Great game.
Yep.
How about deal of the year for Intruders? Intruders has been $2 on Steam a few times before, and we always freak out about it, but it's never been that cheap on PlayStation Store until now. Intruders is $2 on the PlayStation Store right now. A fairly challenging stealth game, a very well crafted narrative.
Yeah.
And if you like story driven games, this is worth $2 all day long.
Yeah, $2, man. For $2, you get. I mean, it's what, several hours, 7, 8. I don't even know how many hours. The hardest part is the learning the map. Like you get in there, and it's a stealth game, and that some of these areas are pretty big, right? And you're trying to figure out where to go. And once you learn that, it's a lot easier. But definitely one of the best story based stealth games I've played. So
Yeah, it's great. Overg says, "Where do you get Wipeout on sale?" It's a PlayStation VR exclusive. It's on the PlayStation VR North America store. So,
okay.
Lipnox VR says, "Not sure if Pistol Whip is on Steam. Actually, it is.
It
I
is.
sure am."
That's how I've played it. That's the only way I've played it was on somebody else's family share. So
Let's see. Deracine. I always have to think twice how to pronounce this. Deracine, $12.
have you played that
This is
yet?
what I need. Yeah. I put hours into this game, but I think I need to get back into it because the Without Parole guys keep alluding to this dark turn, which it isn't. I mean, it's an adult story already. Early on in the thing, there's some pretty heavy things that take place with these children that you're trying to communicate with. But these guys keep putting over the ending. Like it's a slow burn, but if you can make it to the ending, it's rewarding. So I think I need to get back into it. It's very visually stunning. These are the people that brought us Astrobot Rescue Mission. So you wouldn't know that you're in a PlayStation VR game when you're in there. It's actually very clear and uh, highly detailed textures in this game.
I'll tell you what, you had me at Without Parole recommending it, just because that really do have their finger on the pulse of PlayStation VR like no other podcast out there, in my opinion.
I should clarify. Brian Paul. Brian Paul recommends it. The other guys, it's a little slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, when I think of Without Parole, I think of Brian Paul. But
There you go.
not that
He loves us all. Did you know that? He loves us all.
oh, well, who doesn't, right?
You know who else loves us all?
My
Oh,
mom!
hell yeah.
Lipnox VR says, I don't think it's the same guys as Astrobot. Yeah, Sony Japan Studio. I'm pretty sure put that out. Let me verify that, but I'm fairly certain.
Fake news, Wes. Fake news.
Cine. Boom. Dude, Cine. VR. Come on, man. I don't need the definition of the word. Cine VR.
In real time. Wes is going to find out for you and find out for himself, which I'm pretty sure you already know. But
It's important. We're going to the PlayStation store or PlayStation.
it is important, because we don't want to report anything wrong. And if Wes reports something wrong, it's very
Man,
rare.
I hate this new friggin' PlayStation Store set up. I did find a link though. You can actually, if you use the web address directly, you can go to the old PlayStation Store
Really?
like it used to be. Yeah, you can still do that.
Why not just leave that there then? I don't understand, man. It's like some of these things that's like the stores want to make it difficult to find stuff. And I think it was Quest 2 that we were talking about something on that. I can't remember what it was recently, but it was like, why would they do that? It makes it very hard to find. Like when I go into Quest 2, there's just no way to really just look at all the games that are there. I just want a big list. Show me everything you have. Don't make me look by genre. Don't show me 10 games and then I got to click out and go back into another genre and maybe I missed something. Just give me a list of everything that's on your store, alphabetical, and Root says. That's all you have to know.
Okay, so
Yeah, the new one sucks. Slipknox VR says. It said the good PlayStation Store. The new
all
one
right.
sucks.
So Deracine this is Wikipedia, is a virtual reality adventure game developed by From Software with production assistance from Japan Studio. So it was From Software in collaboration with Japan Studio, the developer of Astrobot Rescue
So
Mission.
you're both right.
Yep. So we are both correct.
Yeah, I like that. Nobody feels bad. Everybody feels like they were correct. It's good news.
Nox VR says the good PlayStation Store. The new one sucks. I agree, and I've got it linked up in the top of the thing here. As long as it works, I'm going back to the old one because, like, it's made Game of the Month a nightmare because you can't arrange games at all in the new PlayStation Store. You can't arrange them alphabetically. You can't arrange them by release date. You can't arrange them at all. They're just all thrown at you in no specific order, and you just kind of have to wade through them.
You know what's good for that is VR game rankings because they do really, or at least I think he still keeps up on it. I don't know, but it was always a good place to go to find out, what's out.
He's actually, I think he's going to close the website now.
What? Oh man, that is just insane, Anthony.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, bro. Please, we need you.
You want a deal on a good adventure game, Roots?
Yeah.
How about $10 for Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher?
Yeah, this is one of those ones that's got every genre in it. You got Cookie Pie. Who doesn't want Cookie Pie? Man, what a character, right? This was actually a really good game, and I don't know why people didn't receive it the way that they should have. I question your soul if you don't like, well, maybe not your soul, but I do question if people don't like this game, especially if it's based on the controller scheme. Like, really get over it, bro. Like, just push the buttons and enjoy a good story and a lot of good action.
They fixed the controllers. First of all, they implemented new control schemes. They made it the way people wanted it, and it was funny. By the time they did that, people were used to the other controls, and nobody actually switched.
It's different, but it's not any less good. It's like I was telling people about Dying Light, using the R bumper to jump. Like once you got used to it, I started realizing like I wish more games did it this way. So I would imagine that once you get used to their scheme, there's a reason why they did it that way, and possibly you might prefer it to other schemes, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I did play through the game with the new scheme, but I question what I would do if I went back into it now because it's been long enough now that I would revert back to my old habits, I think, and I would probably have to change it to the more common thing. But there's choices. That's the point. You can play it however you want. Um, Besides that, the only kind of negative criticism I have for this game is the story. The story is kind of all over the place. Like it goes in a lot of different directions, and they don't exactly tie it together at the end. It's still just what the hell's going on, even at the end of it. But the gameplay makes this game in the maps. I mean, it's got nice long, I mean, fairly linear, but nice long maps and gameplay that you don't really see many games like this in VR. The only other one I could think of would be Edge of Nowhere has this style of gameplay to it. but that's third person. This is first person.
And I would submit that Cookie Pie needs you. You're not gonna just leave her hanging, bro. She needs your help.
Yeah, she don't need anybody's help, bro. You need her help.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I need her a lot.
Oh, Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. We're $7, Roots.
I don't know. That's the thing. Remember, this was one of those games that I've referenced a couple times of how people were excited about Wolfenstein coming to VR, and then it was not what everybody expected. I personally, I don't know that I've ever played the game because remember we all went to go into it to talk about it, and I had issues with getting it to even run for whatever reason. I couldn't get it to start up, so I never really went into this game. I want to check it out because it's something that I think would be worth checking out. But I guess $7, from what you guys have said, wouldn't be outrageous, right?
No, if it, by the way, I did get to play it. I didn't have that many issues with it, technically. Um, the only question here is how it runs on PlayStation for me. If it runs on PlayStation like it ran for me on PC, then it's worth $7. It's not the greatest game in the world, but it's a high quality, uh, you know, uh, rail shooter, pretty much. I mean, it's not technically a rail shooter. I mean, technically you're driving, but it's so linear it might as well be a rail shooter.
$7 if it performs good and it's got a decent story. I don't see why you wouldn't want to at least check it out, right?
Yeah, this is $7, and it's a nice, you know, it's from Bethesda. I mean, it's got high quality graphics. Not the Wolfenstein game that you wanted, but still a cool game.
Yeah, well, that's just an example to developers out there. You got to make the gameplay good. Not that the gameplay is not good; it's just not what we expected. And that's expectations, right? I mean, how many times do we have expectations taint a game because you think it's going to be one way and it's not the same way, and then people get pissed. So
Lipnock says, I never tried out Wolfenstein after everyone said it was lame. We tried it out because everyone said it was lame, because like so many times we've ended up liking stuff that other people didn't like, and we've ended up not liking things that people love. So everybody's different. And I'll say that it wasn't the greatest game in the world. There was nothing really in particular that stood out about it. It was a fairly generic shooter game, but it was fun. It had nice, crisp visuals and solid shooting mechanics. It was just kind of milk toast.
yeah, well, $7. Kind of a recommendation, but kind of not. So you make the decision. If you're into the Wolfenstein series, you probably get something out of it, right? So
Yeah, it's worth $7. It was questionable at 20 when it launched, but it's worth $7.
cool.
Epic Game Store, 2 free games. One game called For the King. Don't know what that is. I assume it's some sort of Elvis game, but it's free. Next game, Metro Last Light Redux. This sounds like Helix Vision material to me.
It does actually, or at best, virtual desktop uh, material. And anybody that's used virtual desktop, and I'll go into it a little bit more in detail on Wednesday. Headlock off, headlock on, frustration. But and I'll explain that on Wednesday. But yeah, it's definitely sounds like a good game. I picked up both games this morning, and I mean I know that series. It's something that I might have been interested to begin with. So yeah, free is free. Free is good.
By the way, Wednesday coming up, virtual show. We're each going to talk about what we've been playing as always, and then we're going to round the show off with January's Game of the Month discussion. So be sure to tune in for that. Be sure, if you haven't already, to click the big red button and the bell so you don't miss virtual show when it comes to you live Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
And if you don't know this about YouTube by now, I question you. The bell really matters. Like you could be subscribed to somebody and they don't even tell you that they're going live or that they've got new stuff. Like they it's a different thing they've added to where okay, you're subscribed, but do you really want to know that they've got information or new stuff out there? So make sure you click that bell. Absolutely.
Limnox wants to know what you mean by headlock on and headlock off.
It is a frustrating feature that I guess it would be good for virtual desktop, but it is not good for streaming. It's not good for me. Caused frustration to where I was screaming at the chick, headlock off every so often. It's a voice activated thing in virtual desktop, and it's got different things that you can do. And no matter what, I just didn't even know there was voice activation. And as I'm playing, all of a sudden I hear, and I'm not even saying anything, headlock on. And then all of a sudden my screen starts drifting in this weird way. And I'm like trying to maneuver. And then I'm screaming, headlock off. And it was so irritating. The good news is there's a check mark that you get to check to turn that off. The bad news from what I see is it automatically turns itself on every time you use virtual desktop. So if you don't want headlock on or headlock off, you need to click that thing off and never do it again. I can't see how it would be beneficial. I think it's designed for maybe for first person where you're looking around. I was using it for Gauntlet and I was using it for World of Warcraft, and neither one of those was I using exclusively first person. So as it's drifting off in this weird cockeyed way, it was not a good thing. It was a very frustrating feature that was very entertaining for my stream. Let's put it that way.
So it's interesting for Oculus Quest here. I was going to check it in real time to see if there's any sales, because we've had sales for a solid month on it. There's been a daily deal every day, and then there's been bundles. But when you go to the Quest landing page, you don't see any of that. But when I go to the cross-buy page, let me reload it again just to verify. Yeah, on the cross-buy page, it shows me a daily deal for 2MD Football Unleashed, $10 on Oculus Quest right now.
That's actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's not bad. We covered it on the virtual show not that long ago, and enjoyed it pretty well. I just bought a Quest game the other day, Roots cross-buy title. I finally bought 11 Table Tennis, and it was a daily deal, so I went ahead and picked it up.
Nice. Lipnox VR wants to know if that's a version on the Steam version of Virtual Desktop. I do not know. I use the Oculus version, so I don't know if it's. I'm assuming it's one of the things in the settings. It's got voice activation, and it's also got another check mark that's not for voice activation. For that one does stay off if you turn off the headlock thing. I just very weird. So.
All right, very quickly, one more thing to round out free stuff and killer deals before we say goodbye. Steam. Didn't really go through the Steam sales this week. I imagine it was as it always is. You know, the same games are always on sale. But the really cool thing that's going on Steam right now is the Steam Winter Game Festival, ongoing through the 9th. So another 2 days of the festival. And what this does is it brings demo access to a ton of VR games, including Sword Reverie and Rhythm of the Universe Ionia. So about 20 to 30 VR demos available right now. These are timed things. You don't want to waste time. Go check it out. Go look and see what's available. Download the ones you want and try them out while you can.
Yeah, somebody in Discord was saying there's a monkey thing. I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can get up there and swing around it on the monkey. So a lot of different stuff, especially if you don't have much to do or you're looking for different experiences. You know, like Wes said, the couple of those we are already on our radar. So getting a chance to check them out may be the deciding factor whether you pick them up or not. So definitely do it.
Yeah, Lipnox says Sword Reverie demo is early access, but cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that one out, as well as the other one, Rhythm of the Universe Ionia. I think that game looks gorgeous, and I think that even if the gameplay loop isn't all that much, I think that game's going to be eye candy.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel. And basically, to boil it all down, we just need you to click the things. That's all. Just click the stuff. Click the big red button if you're new and the bell next to it. That will allow you to stay up to date with all of our content. Maybe you don't want the conversation to end. Maybe you'd like to keep talking some VR with us. Well, you can do so today, each and every day, by scrolling down to the description, and down there you will find an invitation to our Discord. That's where we live. That's where our community thrives. That's where we get together and play games. We laugh together. We cry together. We order pizza together, and it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Join the community.
Absolutely.
Uh, Finally, for those of you who would like to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to our weekly show notes, as well as the occasional, always awesome money show. And Roots, we did upload a money show this week finally. The holidays kind of put us behind a little bit, but we're back on track. We came back strong with a pretty good episode this week, I feel.
Yeah, I've heard that feedback from a couple of patrons. So yeah, we always enjoy it, and we tried to actually have a good conversation that we might not have on the show for you.
Yep, absolutely. For those of you who don't know, the money show is it's a gameplay, but it's not about the gameplay. We basically take to a game, and then we talk about issues like we did here today. But normally the stuff we talk about on the money show is stuff that we don't talk about during the regular episodes. The bigger questions, we tackle those on money show. $3 a month, pretty good deal. If it weren't for Viveport, I'd say it's the best deal in VR.
Yeah, dude, Viveport is definitely an amazing deal, and the representatives from Vive need to realize our segment, Wes. And I'd like to, I feel like we're pushing Viveport Infinity, and actually we are. We're not. We have no affiliation with it, but since it's such a good deal, we feel like you need to know about it.
Absolutely. That's what free stuff and killer deals is all about.
Yep.
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up here, friends. And with that said, we'd like to thank you once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye.
Take it easy.